All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. We pick this up at John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. If you will not come to me that you might have life, I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Allah. Hey, cut it out. But you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come by Abba's name, and you receive me not. And if another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, Allah. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of it. If you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom, Jay. Shalom, nigga. Peace, brother Omar. Shalom, sister bro. Hey, sit down. Sit down. Let's come over here to Isaiah chapter 34. The whole page gone. Except for the part I need. Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek you out the book of Yahuah and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want to make. For my mouth it have commanded, and his ruach it have gathered them. Shalom, brother Shalom. Shalom, brother Moses. Let's take a look at a couple things real quick. Now, of course, when he's telling you to seek you out, the Sefer. When you look at seek you out, that's Darash. Dalit, Raj, Shan. To resort, to seek with care. And that's the main thing that you want to look at. To seek with care, or to ask, or to inquire, to investigate. You need to seek with care the Sefer or the scroll of Yahuah. Very, very important. Those are the first verse that we started with, which is to search the scriptures. Because you think you got eternal life, and they talk about him. Then they tell you to read. Karah, Kuf, Rosh, Aleph. To read aloud, to read to oneself, to read. You need to seek out with care the scroll of Yahuah and read it. And when you do, you'll find out that no one of these will fail. When you're dealing with a fail, that is a dar, Ayin, Dalit, and Raj. It's not going to lack. It's not going to fail. It's not going to be left lacking. Shalom, brother. And he said, none shall want her mate. And what is made in this instance is Ruth. Raj, Ayin, U, and Tau. Female companion, a mate, a neighbor, a woman. An associate, another, a mate. It won't lack a companion, and his Ruach has gathered them. I want you to go to Revelation 1 and 1. And of course, you look at it, gather means to gather, to assemble, to gather together. Basically, what it said in Isaiah, 46? Nothing gonna fail. But let's go to Revelation 1, though. One and 1. The revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, which Elohim gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. He sent and signified by his Malachim unto his servant Yachanan, who bear record of the word of Elohim. Hey, be quiet. Be quiet. I don't want to hear it. And of the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, of all the things that he saw. Baruch he that read, and they that hear the words of the prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. I know we got some elements in Genesis chapter 6 to get to. I just dropped a video in the chat about what this dude said about Zechariah 14, and we can go through that in a moment. Shalom, sister. Let's get some stuff in Esther too. No, that Ruth 3. Thou want to complete. Shalom, Brother Robert. Do we want Genesis 1? Let's go to Deuteronomy 25 real quick. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Not what I'm finna work. Let me look in Isaiah 50 real quick. Dwayne, sit down and be quiet. Sit down and be quiet. You heard what I said, son. Isaiah 50 and 1. Oh. Thus saith Yahuah, where the bill of your mother's divorcement of whom I have put away, or which of my creditors to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have you sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. So, there's two elements of testimony information contained in this first verse. Let's take a look at that and decipher that. First things first, I want you to look at bill of divorcement. Again, this is Sefer Karuth. That is Kaf for Karuth, Raj, Tau, U, and Tau. That's a divorce, a dismissal, a divorcement. Or the cutting off of the matrimonial bond. So this is the first thing that we want to look at to establish a point with that. Go to Ezekiel chapter 23 and verse 1. 23 and 1, Ezekiel. The word of Yahuah came again unto me, saying, Son of Adam, there were two women, the daughters of one mother. Be quiet, son. And they committed whoredoms in Mizraim. They committed whoredoms in their youth. And there were their breasts pressed. And there they bruised the teats of their virginity. And the names of them, Aloha the elder, and Alohabah her sister. And they were mine, and they bare sons and daughters. Thus their names, Samaria is Aloha, and Jerusalem is Ahalabah. Aloha played the harlot when she was mine. She doted on her lovers, the Assyrians, neighbors, clothed with blue, captains, rulers of their... Hey, no. Get up. Get up. Get up. And they were clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. Thus she committed her whoredoms with them, and with all them that were the chosen men of Assyria, with them who she doted. With all their idols she defiled herself. Neither she left her whoredoms from Israel, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity and poured their whoredom upon her. Wherefore I delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she doted. That takes into what we was reading in 2 Kings 17. It's about them getting put out. This is Samaria, by the way. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword. She became famous among women, for they executed judgment upon her. And when her sister Alohabah saw, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. She doted upon the Assyrians, neighbors, captains, rulers, clothed most gorgeously, horsemen riding upon horses, all of them desirable young men. Then I saw that she was defiled, and that they took both one away, and that she increased her whoredoms, for when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion, girded with girdles upon their loins, exceedingly in dyed attire upon their heads, all of them princes to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians of the Chaldea, the land of their nativity. And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she doted upon them, and sent messengers unto them into Chaldea. And the Babylonians came to her into the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom. She was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them. So she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness, that then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Yet she multiplied in her whoredoms, in calling to remembrance the days of her youth, when she had played the harlot in the land of Mizraim. For she doted upon her paramours, whose flesh is as the flesh of asses, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. that you call to remembrance the lewdness of your youth and the bruising of your teats by the Egyptians for the paps of your youth. Therefore, O Lord, thus saith Yahuah Elohim, behold, I will raise up your lovers against you, from whom your mind is alienated, and I will bring them against you on every side. Now, we don't have to keep continuing this here, right? But I do want you to come over here to about verse 29 or 28. Now, what we're ascertaining is where's the bill of your mother's divorcement. Now, of course, Isaiah is talking to Judah specifically, Jerusalem specifically, versus speaking to Samaria. We're establishing the fact that he put them both away. We also read that last week when you look at what we read in 2 Kings 17 and Ezekiel chapter 5. But nevertheless, Ezekiel 23 and 28. For thus saith Yahuah Elohim, behold, I will deliver you into the hand of them whom you hate, into the hand of whom your mind is alienated, and they shall deal with you hatefully. And they shall take away all your labor, and shall leave you naked and bare. And the nakedness of your whoredom shall be discovered, both your lewdness and your whoredoms. And I will do these things unto you, because you have gone a whoring after the heathen, and because you are polluted with their idols. And you will walk in the way of your sister, therefore I will give her cup into your hand. Thus saith Yahuah Elohim, you shall drink of your sister's cup deep and large. You shall be laughed to scorn and had in derision. It contained much. From what you heard in verse 29 and 32, you should have picked up on the Lord's death. Number one, when they stripped him of his garments, they left him naked and bare, meaning he's exposed. Therefore, he took on sin, he became sin who knew no sin, and bared your iniquities. Therefore, the nakedness of his whoredoms was discovered, because he was discovered to be carrying your whoredoms. The next part obviously told you that now you're going to take this cup in your hand and you're going to drink it. Now, when you sit back and you look at it, they say you'll be laughed to scorn and had in derision. And you will, of course, where they mocked him and said, if you be the Son of God, come down, so on and so forth. Look at verse 33. You shall be filled with drunkenness and sorrow, with the cup of, peace, Brother Joseph, with the cup of astonishment and desolation, with the cup of your sister Samaria. And we know that he was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. All these things happen. There's another verse in Isaiah 51 talk about the cup. We could go on for days when they come to that, as forth as testifying to that cup. Jeremiah 49 is where you see where he asked for the cup to pass, and so on and so forth. Verse 34 of Ezekiel 23. You shall even drink it and suck it out, and you shall break the sherds thereof, and pluck off your own breast. For I have spoken, saith Yahuah Elohim. Therefore, thus saith Yahuah Elohim, because you have forgotten me and cast me behind your back, therefore bear you also your lewdness and your whoredoms. And Yahuwah said, moreover, unto me, son of Adam, will you judge a Lord high, the Lord by? Yes, declare unto them their abominations. But they have committed adultery, and blood is in their hands. And with their idols have they committed adultery. And they caused their sons, whom they bear unto me, to pass for them through the fire, to devour them. Moreover, this they have done unto me, they have defiled my sanctuary in the same day, and have profaned my Shabbat. And when they slain their children to their idols, then they came the same day into my sanctuary to profane it. And lo, thus have they done in the midst of my house. Furthermore, you have sent men for to come from far, unto whom a messenger was sent, and lo, they came. For whom did you wash yourself, paint your eyes, and deck yourself with ornaments? And sat upon a stately bed and table prepared before it, wherefore you shall set my incense and my oil. And a voice of multitude being at ease was with her. With the men of common sort were brought Sabians from the wilderness, which put bracelets upon their hands and beautiful crowns upon their heads. Then said I unto her that was of old in adulteries, will you now commit whoredoms with her? And she with them. Yet they went in unto her as they go into a woman that played the harlot. So when they went into a lower high and a lower by the lewd women and the righteous men, they shall judge them after the manner of the adulterers, after the manner of the women that shed blood, because they're adulteresses, and blood is in their hands. So now you can see where's the bill of your mother's divorcement. Now, let's return back to Isaiah 50. 50 and 1. Go sit down. Thus saith Yahuwah, where's the bill of your divorcement, whom I have put away? Or which of my creditors to whom I have sold you? Now, I want you to look at the word creditors. When you look at creditors, Nashah, Noon, Shan, and Hay, to lend or to be a creditor, in the sense to lend or borrow on security or interest. Now ask yourself this question, as he's asking us, does Yahuah have a creditor? Whom did he sell you to? But look what he told you. Your iniquities have sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. Of course, we read that in Ezekiel 23. And you know in Isaiah 52, you say you sold yourself for nothing, but you'll be redeemed without money. Now, of course, you know it tell you that the wages of sin is death. And he came to destroy him that had power over death. That is the devil. And then you know the borrower is a servant to the lender. Now, you know, a lot of people talk about a lot of things, you know what I'm talking about? We were talking about this yesterday. Like, it's very difficult for people to grasp and accept the fact. That man said he that commits sin is the servant of sin. You know what I'm saying? So when you turn around and you look at this aspect, if you commit sin, you were servant to the lender. You were servant to the devil, because he that commits sin is of the devil. That's what he tell you. So when you sold yourself for nothing, because he told you, which one of my creditors have I sold you? You say, man, your iniquities, you sold yourself. And that's the part that individuals do not like to accept or deal with. Satan didn't do nothing to you. Just like I said, even for case in point, even though technically you can't sell your soul because it ain't your soul to sell and Satan can't buy it. But it's the framework of the reality is that when you sell your soul, it's like what it said in Romans 6:16, to whomever you yield your members to obey is to whom you obey, whether it be sin unto death or obedience unto righteousness. So when he tell you these things, man, you know, you sell yourself to this man. The devil ain't making you do it. Ain't no lust spirit on you. That's you. You giving yourself over. Case in point, the 13th Amendment say that slavery is abolished except for the punishment of a crime. So every time you go out here to commit a crime and you get locked up and they send you to the county or you send you to prison, them people that you sold yourself into slavery. Them people can work you for free with no compensation and nobody put you there but yourself. And that's one of the things that in this particular society, especially amongst our people, that we don't like to deal with, and that personal accountability. You know what I'm saying? It's always this person why you did this, or this trigger why you, man, ain't nobody trying to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. You put yourself in that situation and circumstance by the choice and decision that you made. And now you're going to have to accept the consequences of your actions. Now, the consequence of this action, what he's discussing is we sold ourselves and got booted up out the land. And you got booted up out the land because you wanted to commit adulteries with stones and stocks. But let's continue. Verse 2 of Isaiah 50. Wherefore, when I came, was there no man? When I called, was there none to answer? Is my hand shortened at all that it cannot redeem? Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, at my rebuke I dry up the sea. I make the rivers of wilderness, their fish stink because there's no water, and they die of thirst. Now listen to what he said. Wherefore, when I came, was there no man? When he called, nobody answered. Remember, he came into his own, and his own received him not. And is his hand shortened at all that it cannot redeem? Now, when we see what word they use for redeem here, will we have Padah or will we have Gaal? And this one here, we have the other one, Paduth, pay, dollar, ooh, and tile. And of course, you know, this is a ransom. So when he said, is my arm shortened that it cannot ransom? And y'all know what Proverbs 13:8 say. Somebody tell me what Proverbs 13:8 say. I ain't finna say it out loud. I need somebody to tell me what it say. I need somebody to tell me what Proverbs 13:8 say. Don't worry, I got time. Boy, I think I got a pinched nerve in my neck. Dang, all y'all got to do is type it in. Proverbs 13:8. I need somebody to tell me what it says. Indeed, good sir. The ransom of a man's life is his riches. So now he just told you that his hand is not shortened that at all, that it cannot ransom. So if his arm is not shortened that it cannot ransom, and the ransom of a man's life are his riches, guess what that's telling you? Now, this is the dude I told you about. He slid in here Saturday. And when he not being a douchebag, he ain't no bad dude. And we be trying to tell him how to better. You can tell he don't be around black people too tough. Or people in general for that matter. But I want you to come to Deuteronomy 24 and 15. Excuse me. 24 and 16. Deuteronomy 24 and 16. The fatherless shall not be put to death. The fathers, shall not be put to death for the children. Neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. I'm going to read you some other verses that come along with this. And I want to see if someone was to bring that to you, how would you answer it? Of course, they're going to bring you this to you as it pertains to Yahuah, obviously. So I want you to look at 2 Chronicles 25. I want you to come to 2 Chronicles 25 and 1. After that, Jeremiah 31 and 29. And after that, Ezekiel 18 and 20. Now, we just tied this in with Deuteronomy 24 and 16. We're going to link a chain and link a chain. You feel me? This is 2 Chronicles 25 and 1. Amaziah was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Yahuah or Jerusalem. He did that which was right in the sight of Yahuah, but not with a perfect heart. Now it came to pass when the kingdom was established to him that he slew his servants that had killed the king his father, but he slew not their children, but did as it is written in the law of the book of Moses, where Yahuah commanded, saying, the father shall not die for the children, neither shall the children die for the fathers, but every man shall die for his own sin. Now, I hope you peeped the caveat that's being conveyed if you didn't peep it in Deuteronomy 24. Because a lot of people misapply Deuteronomy 24 and they're speaking against Yahushua HaMashiach. But let's continue and let's hit Jeremiah 31, 29. I would hit the backstory on Amaziah, but we don't have that time. Make it 21, 27. Hey, don't come in here with that noise. Don't do it. Have some respect. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuah, that I will sow the house of Yasharal and the house of Yehudah with the seed of Adam and with the seed of beast. Shall come to pass, like as I've watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down, and to destroy and to afflict. So will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith Yahuah. In those days they shall no more say, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge, but everyone shall die for his own iniquity. And every man that eat the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Now he told you everybody is going to die for his own iniquity. Now, the last piece in this chain, Ezekiel 18. I'm going to read all of it, man. So ain't going to hurt nothing. Ezekiel 18 and 5. Don't do that. Don't put that right there, son. Stop it. You're going to look at me and do it anyway. Because you're stubborn. You're churlish. Ezekiel 18 and 5. You can make it 4. Ezekiel 18 and 4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so is the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinned, it shall die. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Yasharal, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a minstrel's woman, have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, has spoiled none by violence, and has given his bread to the hungry, and covered the naked with his garment. He did pour all that water out of him. He have not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase, have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, and have executed true judgment between man and man. He have walked in my statutes and kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, say Yahuah Elohim. If he beget a son that is a robber, a shedder of blood that do like to any of these things, and that do not any of those, but even have eaten upon the mountains and defiled his neighbor's wife, and have oppressed the poor and needy, have spoiled by violence, and have not restored the pledge, and have lifted up his eyes to the idols, and committed abomination. He have given forth upon usury and have taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations, he shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Now lo, if he beget a son, that see all his father's sins which he have done, and consider and do not such like, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Yasharal, have not defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have oppressed any, have not withholden the pledge, neither have spoiled by violence, but have given his bread to the hungry, and covered the naked with a garment, and taken his hand from the poor, and have taken off his hand from the poor, and have not received usury nor increase, and have executed my judgments, and have walked in my statutes, he shall not die for the iniquity of his father, he shall surely live. As for his father, because he cruelly oppressed and spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which was not good among his people, lo, even he shall die in his iniquity. Yet say you, why? Do not the son bear the iniquity of the father, when the son have done that which is lawful and right? Have kept all my statutes and done them, he shall surely live. The soul that sinneth shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Now, hey, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Hey, that's not the time to do all that because I'm trying to do something. Hey, come here. Bring him here. I don't have time for this. Y'all just move about like this, like I ain't doing nothing. Hey, hush, 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 hush. You all right, boy? You all right? You all right? Hey, look at me. What you want? Hey, I don't care nothing about all that. You too. You cut it out. So when you take Ezekiel 18, Jeremiah 31, and Deuteronomy 24 and 16, what do y'all get out of that? Because people will tell you Jesus can't die for your sins. Yahushua can't die for your sins. That's what they're going to tell you. And they're going to use Deuteronomy 24 as their proof text. But what is Deuteronomy 24 saying? In conjunction with 2 Chronicles 25, in conjunction with Ezekiel 18, in conjunction with Jeremiah 31, what is actually being communicated? And when you say that the Lord died for your sins, what are you actually saying according to the text? Do you know what you're saying, or are you just saying it for the sake of saying it? Now I'm going to read you something in John 7 and 50. Well, I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all got to tell me how y'all going to piece that together. I already know how I'm going to piece it together. When you look at John 7:49, they tell you that the people who know not the law are cursed. So, and you take in Deuteronomy 24:16. I'll read it one more time. That's in conjunction with 2 Chronicles 25, 1, 2, and 3 or 4, Jeremiah 31 and 29, Ezekiel 18 and 20. What do you do with somebody if they say, nah, man, Christ can't die for your sins? It said the father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. One of the first key components you should have been able to ascertain, and you would have seen that if we would have read the backstory with Amaziah. Peace, East, man. When you take the Deuteronomy 24:16, this ain't talking about nobody can't be a ransom or an atonement for the people. It say the fathers can't be put to death for the children, neither the children put to death for the fathers. Give you case in point. In America, a lot of people feel like if a child commits a crime, that the parent should be held responsible and culpable for the crime that the child committed, even though the parent had nothing to do with anything that the child had done. The child did this on their own volition, own will, own desire. Well, you were telling you, if your daddy, as we read in Ezekiel 18, if your daddy was a murderer, an adulterer, a liar, a thief, the son will not bear that iniquity. He will not bear that penalty. Consequently, if the son has did all these things, then the father cannot bear that. But the soul that sinned, it's gonna die. That's what's being communicated in Deuteronomy 24. He's telling you plainly, succinctly, and plainly, you not finna be executing shafat on nobody for something that somebody else did. Now, we just read in Isaiah 50, he said his arm is not shortened that it cannot redeem or produce or bring forth a ransom. You know Ezekiel 13 and Proverbs 13 and 8 says that the ransom of a man's life is his riches. And you know from Hosea 13 and 10, 13 and 14, excuse me, that he will redeem you from the power of the grave, or Gaal, the kinsman redeemer. You also know on the Day of Atonement, and this is where people get tripping, you cool with offering a bull, a goat, a sheep, and all the sort to make an atonement or a ransom for your sin, but you say a man can't do it, but little Betsy and the sheep is fine. Now you measure that and tell yourself if that's some first grade hypocrisy. Now, we know from Matthew chapter 20, you can come back to Isaiah 50, that he told you that he did not come to be served, but to serve and to offer his life as a ransom for many, or a paduk, a deliverer, a rescue, because that's one of the definitions for paduk. So when we come back to Isaiah 50, and this man said that his arm is not short, that it can't redeem. He said, or have I no power to deliver? Now, how is he choosing to deliver? What does man need to be delivered from? And we were talking about this yesterday also. When you look in Hebrews, whether it's Hebrews 7, Hebrews 8, Hebrews 9, Hebrews 10, it's all talking about the Day of Atonement. What happens on the Day of Atonement? Indeed. Shalom, Brother Mark. What happens on the Day of Atonement? You're making reconciliation or an atonement or a ransom for sin. See, let's look at something. Come over here to Leviticus 16 real quick. I want you to look at 16 and 16. Leviticus 16 and 16. And he shall make an atonement for the Kadash because of the uncleanness of the sons of Yasharal, because of their transgressions and all their sins. And so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remain among them in the midst of their uncleanliness. Now, y'all know atonement is the Hebrew word kafar. Kav, Pei, and Rosh. That's to cover, to purge, to make an atonement, to make reconciliation. Now, why is this important? We read this the other day in Daniel 9. We're going to read it again. Nine and 24. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon the Kedah city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make a reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most Kadash. Now, again, reconciliation, again, which you know is kafar. This is what he's telling you when he said that he can't produce a ransom or deliver or to rescue or to make a reconciliation because you sold yourself. Now, we're going to read 2 Corinthians 5 in a minute, but I want you to come to Isaiah 53 on general principle. $53 and 10 is fine. This is Isaiah 53 and 10. Yet it pleased Yahuah to bruise him, and he hath put to grief when he shall make his soul an offering for sin. He shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the presence of Yahuah shall prosper in his hand. Now, if you recall, now when you look at offering for sin, just so you know, that is a sham, olive, shan, and mean. That's guilt, offense, sin, guiltness, or compensation for an offense. And if the ransom of a man's life are his riches, and the producer is the redeem or the price that has to be paid, hold on, because you got kofar, which also is a price of a life. Let me make sure that's what's used in Proverbs 13, is kofar for price. So that's a price of a life. In that instance, no, we didn't use that. Just making sure. No, that's what's used there as kofar, excuse me. That's the word I'm thinking about. When it's got ransom in Proverbs 13 and 8, that's kofar. Kaf, pay, and rod. That's a price of a life. Ransom or bribe. The price of a life is a man's riches. His life was valued in the eyesight of man for 30 pieces of silver. Ain't that about a funky hoe? Now, I want you to weigh this in your mind. When you come back to Isaiah 53, that's the compensation for an offense. The compensation for an offense in the garden was Adam's life. The compensation to pay for that offense means the son of Adam has to die again, or the son of God has to die again. This time, this is a clean offering, an offering that can be accepted by God to reverse what the first Adam did, which obviously y'all know 1 Corinthians 15 tell you that. But let's look at verse 11, because what we're looking at is the reconciliation. Which I think we talked about that, reconciliation, ransom, and redemption, something that a lot of people don't like to look at or to discuss. This is verse 11. He shall see the travail of his soul. Also, that's what it was. That's almost losing my brain. When we look at making soul an offering for sin, if you remember, we read in Jeremiah 7 and the other places where he talked about that he didn't care about burnt offerings and sacrifices. And he said, you know, offerings and sacrifices you would not, but a body you have prepared for me. That would be the offering for sin. And I think a lot of people only focused on the offering for sin because of what happened with the covenant on Mount Sinai. And as Derek just mentioned, the sin of Adam rarely comes into people's mind, especially when you look at from an Israelite point of view, because the only thing they focused on is the covenant made with Israel and not the state of resting with your fathers that everyone has to suffer because of this man's disobedience. You know what I'm talking about? Don't nobody really want to look at that, talk about that, discuss that. This don't seem to be important to people. The only thing that seems to be important for most is getting redeemed from exile, from captivity, from, you know what I'm saying? And not being redeemed from the captivity that's sin and death. A lot of people are not concerned with that. Now, my personal opinion, why a lot of people not concerned with that, because it's not pushed, it's not conversed, it's not talked about. It's not the main point of conversation. So if it's not the main point of conversation, then of course the people in general are probably not going to care about it as much. I mean, and that's natural. It is what it is. Isaiah 53:11. He shall see the travail of his soul, and he shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Now, what does this mean when he say to bear your iniquities? Of course, you got Sabal, Abon. When you have Sabal, Samah, Ba, and Lamad, to bear a load, to carry. Now, of course, he told you to come unto me, all you that labor, and I'll give you rest. Now, when you look at Avon, when he said he's going to bear your iniquities, his righteous servant that will justify many. Of course, iniquity is Avon. And one of those things is the consequence or punishment for iniquity, not just the guilt of iniquity. But then when you look at that as guilt of iniquity, or guilt is great, or guilt of condition, or punishment for iniquity, you see that that's what you got for a sin offering. That is a guilt offering. And then, hold on, pause, because we were just talking about this. Leviticus 5. Because man's asked a question about something, some people overthink stuff, and it's cool. He was asking, where do you see the judgment for eating pork? I'm like, shoot, where do you see the judgment for committing adultery? Where do you see the judgment for committing murder? You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I want you to come over here to, well, these people be on here scamming. You hear me? This is just something to message. My name is Mary Jane, and I'm from Vietnam. Yeah, they be on here scamming now. Oh, yeah, Dr. Ozark sent me the thing. She said, you've been vindicated. Because that dude that went to jail for not taking care of his kids, that nigga pled guilty. Now, you got on this Al Gore's internet and you talk all that stuff just to turn around and plead guilty. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't going to go through all the details on that because it is what it is. But the junk that pissed me off when all that junk went down, and I'm going to tell you something too, because niggas in the word like to do this, and niggas retarded. Now, let me tell you y'all something real now. Do people get locked up for stuff they don't do? Sure. Happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, you juxtapose that to the people who get locked up. Is the amount of people who get locked up for doing nothing equal to or greater than the people who did? Absolutely not. Now, I'm going to tell you something in the sense of equality, justice, and righteousness. One person incarcerated for something he didn't do is one person too many. You know what I'm talking about? But the overwhelming majority of people who get locked up, you put yourself in some sort of position where there was probable cause to lock you up. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, like it ain't some funky dog, stinking face crackers that ride around here looking to set niggas up and put niggas in the jam, put white boys in the jam, put Asian dudes in the jam. But for the most part, and I know this from having the misfortune of placing myself in that position of being incarcerated with these men. Now, of course, I haven't been incarcerated with these men in over 20 years, at least in the county jail. But things don't change, though. You know what I'm saying? Things are what they are. They're going to be what they're going to be. And it's pretty consistent. For the most part, when you go to jail, boy, you did something for the people to come pick you up. Now, you can get in front of your family and friends and you can boo-hoo and act like these people messing with you, but we know the truth. Now, I ain't never been one of them dudes be like, these white folks messing with me. I knew what I was out here doing. I knew what come along with it. Now, I said that to say this here. Man, ain't nobody finna randomly pick you up for child abandonment, and ain't no information and probable cause enough to come pick you up for that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I told these dudes, man, I know how court work, man. Man, if you're gonna test the court process, man, it's a process to this here, man. It's a whole process to this. I'm gonna tell you how this process works if you're unfamiliar. First, you get arrested. Now, every jurisdiction is different, so I'm going to speak from the point of view of Duval County. You get arrested in Duval County, you're going to go to first appearance. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what time of day you get arrested, you're going to go to first appearance at 9 o'clock in the morning, or you're going to go at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when they're going to set you a bond, man. Then after that, them people got got about 45 business days to arraign you. If you don't know what arraignment is, that is the formal reading of charges. So let's say you get arraigned. Now, most people waive the reading of the charges. If you've ever seen somebody's jail court sheet that'll say the state of Florida versus defendant such and such, and then it'll have what you arrested for, and it has all that information. That's what arraignment is. That's the reading of the charges. Now, if you want to compare that in the word, ain't no reading of no charges. Now, when he pop open the book of life, he gonna judge you what's written in that book. But that's what arraignment is. It's a reading of the charges. Then you begin to have pretrial hearings. Pretrial hearings is for the purpose of getting things prepared if there's going to be a disposition, either from a nolle pros, which means they're going to drop the charges, or you're going to take a plea agreement, or you go on to trial. So let's just say you go on a trial. One of the first things that the people have to do is the state has to give discovery. If you don't know what discovery is, that means every piece of evidence that they have against you, they have to produce it. You know what I'm saying? They can't turn around and try to wait till trial and pop this up on you because it'll be thrown out. They have to present it as soon as they get it because they have to give you an opportunity to be able to defend yourself against whatever evidence that they present. Then the next thing if they got witnesses in that case, they have something called a deposition. What is a deposition? That's a sworn testimony. Different than from an affidavit you sign at the police station saying that you affirm or swear that whatever you're saying is a true witness account. If you gave a witness statement to the police, you're going to have to go to do a deposition. You're going to have to sit in front of a court reporter. You're going to have to be questioned by the state and from the defense attorney. You're going to have to give sworn testimony. Once everybody get deposed, they pass off their hearings, you get ready, you do jury selection. You know what I'm saying? In the state of Florida, if it's not a capital offense, you get 6 jurors. You don't get 12. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you're facing a life sentence or more, you have a capital offense, you get 12 jurors. Again, every jurisdiction is different. You know what I'm saying? There's 4 juror numbers you get, but that's what they do in the state of Florida. You get 6. You know what I'm talking about? Now, jury selection is a little different. Each side gets to strike a juror till you whittle it down to the 6 jurors or the 12 and however many alternates you have. And then you go to trial. And then trial's 50-50, man. You know what I'm saying? You can win. If you win, you leave from the courtroom. You don't got to go back to the county. You know what I'm saying? Or nothing. You leave right out the courtroom. You free. If you lose, you going back, and then you going to prison. They do the sentencing hearing and all that there, man. Now, this individual said, hey, man, I ain't do this here. And he went in the people courtroom and pled guilty, man. I'm going to tell y'all something real, man. I done did a few crimes in my day. But there's one thing that I would never do. I ain't never pleading guilty to something I ain't do. You going to have to send me to prison, man. I'll fight it on appeal, but I'm not pleading guilty to nothing I ain't do. Nothing. You understand me? Shalom, Aaron, man. And I mean that there, man. I'm not pleading. I'm not pleading guilty to nothing I ain't do. I done pled guilty before, and I did that, John. You hear me? But I ain't pleading guilty to nothing I ain't do. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now, this individual is a teacher of the word. So ain't no way in the world I'm finna go in these people's courtroom and plead guilty to something I ain't do. Period. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't recommend any of you to do that either. If you didn't do it, I wouldn't apologize or say I did something and I ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because some people apologize for stuff they ain't even did nothing. I'm not apologizing to you and I ain't did nothing to you. I wouldn't give a damn. You can call me what you want to call me. I ain't did nothing to you. I ain't apologizing for nothing. I ain't did nothing to you. I'm not saying I did something just because that's going to make you feel if I ain't do that, then I ain't do that. And you should never do that. You know what I'm talking about? Ever, under no circumstance. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling all these brews like, hey, man, these white folks don't come pick you up for child support, bro, just for the hell out of it. They don't do that. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Y'all niggas can come up with victim stories and all this stuff. Man, for them white folks to come pick you up for child support, bro, well, you ain't been paying for a long time, my G. I'm telling you that right now. That's a civil offense. You know what I'm talking about? The police ain't riding around looking for nobody about no child support. By the time them people put a warrant out for you to pick you up out some child support, man, well, you behind, boy. A lot of bread. These niggas be around here lying. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, them people messing with me. Come on, bro. You owe these people 10 racks. The average dude child support ain't got no $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month child support payment, man. Dude paying $400, $500 a month. Well, you know how many years you got to be behind for that, bro? You got to be behind, man. You ain't been banned. This man stood in front of the courtroom as a teacher of the word and say, man, I ain't took care of and seen my kids in 3 years, man. That's what you plead. When you plead guilty, you got to acknowledge that what you did, what they charging you for, you got to, now some states cause you to have to allocute, which means that you have to verbally say what you did. They don't necessarily do that down here. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Leviticus 5:1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, a witness whether he have seen or known, if he do not utter, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether a carcass of an unclean beast, a carcass of unclean cattle, a carcass of unclean creeping thing, if he be hidden from him, he shall also be unclean and guilty. If he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness that of man shall be defiled withal. If he be hid from him when he know, then he shall be guilty. If a soul swear pronouncing with lips to do evil or to do good, whatsoever it be that man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he know it, he shall be guilty in one of these. And it shall be when he shall be guilty in one of these, that he shall confess that he has sinned in that. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto Yahuah for a sin which he have sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement concerning his sin. Now, what did it mention? No matter what it is that you got going on, man, anything that you run afoul word wide, man, the man say, man, an atonement has to be made. If you didn't know about it, once you know, atonement got to be made. A reconciliation has to be made. A purging has to be made. A covering for this has to be made. Now let's take a look at 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Anything. That's the end of that statement. 5 and 12. Joanne, what do you want? No, what do you want? 2 Corinthians 5 and 12. You don't want anything. For we commend not ourselves again unto you, but have given you occasion to esteem on our behalf, that you may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. Now, there's a lot of individuals that glory in appearance. What does this mean when he says that they glory in appearance and not in love? I just want y'all to hear the Greek word for appearance. The Greek word for appearance is prospion. The face, the front of the human head, the countenance, the look. By the appearance one presents by his wealth or his property, his rank or low condition, outward circumstances, external conditions, the outward appearance of inanimate things. Now, what does that take us back to in the Tanakh, if you would? If he say people like to glory in appearance and not in heart. Of course, the glory is the glory in a thing, to give account, to boast, or to rejoice. Now, we know Jeremiah 9 says, let him that esteem that he understand and know me, that I am Yahuah, that take pleasure in loving kindness, righteousness, and judgment. These are the things that I take pleasure in. But you should remember what's said in Samuel. He said, man look on outward appearance, but Yahuah look upon the heart. You know what I'm talking about? Now, why is that important? Because when they looked upon Saul, Saul was shoulders taller than everybody else, and he had a beautiful countenance. That's what he means when he talks about esteeming in appearance and not in heart. Hey, get out of there, boy. No. No. Ain't nothing in there for you. Now think about that. Because everybody likes to talk about that particular verse. You know, God know my heart. No, he don't look on the appearance. He look on the inward part. When you say this man know your heart, you saying he know your inward man. And what's in your inward man. We know from Mark chapter 7, he says it's not what go into a man that defile him, but what come out. So what type of things are coming out your heart? You know what I'm saying? Only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question. No one else can answer that question. And so that's why he tell you got to examine your heart. That's why Psalms 139 say, if there be anything in me, you know, search and examine me. And if there be any froward way in me, purge it out. Well, how is it purged out? Let me read that to you. Psalms 139 and 24, because I ain't said it right. Psalms 139 and 23. Search me, O Elohim, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. Now pause. Look at what he said. If he say try you, that means you want him to test you. That's what he's saying right there. Test me. Examine me and test me. Now, he tell you search. In this instance, it's Kakar. You want him to investigate and examine you. And then you say you want him to know by experience your leb, yada labab. But then you want him to try you, which is Bakan, which is to examine, to test, to prove, the try of gold. And you know the trying of your faith is more precious than gold. So when you asking him to try your heart, that's to take you through the fire. So that he might know your thoughts. Saraf, Shan, Raj, Ayin, Pei, and Mean, that's disquieting thoughts or thoughts. What's a disquieting thought? When you look at disquieting, that's a feeling of anxiety or worry. Something that makes one worried or uneasy. A state of unease, anxiety, or agitation, often linked to worry, spiritual distress, or external turmoil. Now, when we turn around and we look at that as forth as the testimony of Yahuah HaMashiach, when you say, search me and know, try my heart and know me, and verse 24, if there be any wicked way in me, lead me in the way of everlasting. Now, let me ask y'all this question. Where you go see Psalms 120, 139 and 23, played out in the Gospels, though? Because that's what we here for. And everything we talking about spinning from Isaiah 50, we ain't got past verse 2 yet. Where do you see Psalms 139 and 23? Search me, O Elohim. Try me and know my heart. You know what I'm saying? Try my thoughts. All that. Say, know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. Where you gonna see that in the Gospels, man? Oh, that should be easy, man. That's a layup. You feel me? I'll allow it. He said, Jessamine. Remember, after he drank that cup, he said he was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. You understand? And remember, he prayed and he asked for the cup to pass. And he sweat so good, that sweat so strongly that the sweat looked like big drops of blood. You understand? So in that particular instant, he tested him and he knew his thoughts, his disquieting thoughts, his thoughts of anxiety or worry or unease or agitation or stress. You know what I'm talking about? And then he led him in the way of everlasting. That there was no wicked way in him, but he was led to get the wicked ways out of us. So let's come back to 2 Corinthians 5 and 12. And I'm only mentioning that because what we talking about, what he said right there about those that glory in appearance and not in heart. And again, that take us back to what's in Samuel, 1 Samuel 16 and 7, if I'm not mistaken. And it is. But Yahuah said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahuah see not as man see, for man look on the outward appearance, but Yahuah look on the heart. So when you see Paul making this statement, of course, it's a reference back to what's in the text. And that's no different now. If you have a physical build, if you have a certain level of handsomeness, if you dress a particular type of way, people will glory on that appearance and not on the heart. Now I'm gonna go back to 1 Samuel, just so you can see how the people looked at Saul. How was described with Saul? 1 Samuel 9:1. And now there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Becharath, the son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly. And there was not among the sons of Yasharal a goodlier person than he. From his shoulders upward, he was higher than any of the people. Now, let's look at what it say goodly. And again, this is when you have to look at stuff in context, because people look on that outward appearance and not the heart, and they don't take it in the context of why the statement was made, because he was literally talking about outward appearance and how the people viewed him. When you look at goodlier, it's just simply told that which is good and pleasant. He was good and pleasant and taller than everybody else. So they felt like he looked like a king. But inwardly, that wasn't the case. The same way when he told him to come anoint David, he said, don't look at him on his countenance or his height, because David wasn't as tall as Saul. You know what I'm saying? He said he was a handsome man. He said, because I ain't refusing, because he said he don't look on the outward appearance. He look on the inside. Man like to glory on what they can see on the outside and reject what's on the inside. Man does differently. Let's come back to 2 Corinthians 5:13. For whether we be beside ourselves, it is the Elohim, or whether we be sober, it is for your cause. For the love of Hamashiach constrain us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then we're all dead. And that he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto them which died for them and rose again. Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh. Yea, though we have known Hamashiach after the flesh, yet henceforth know we him no more. Therefore, if any man be in a Mashiach, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And all things are of Elohim, who have reconciled us to himself by Yahushua HaMashiach, and have given to us the ministry of reconciliation. To wit, that Elohim was in a Mashiach, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them. He has committed unto us the word of reconciliation, which is what we read in Isaiah 53. Now then, we are ambassadors for Hamashiach, not as though Elohim did beseech you by us. We pray you in Hamashiach's stead, be you reconciled to Elohim. Taking it back to Daniel 9. For he hath made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin, that we may be made the righteousness of Elohim. Now let's take a look. Let me see if I got anything else in Isaiah 53. I do. Verse 12. Isaiah 53 and 12. Then we go back to Isaiah 50. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great. He shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death. He was numbered with the transgressors. He bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. Now the first things first is I'm going to look at intercession. And of course, this is for God. This is to make intercession. This is pay. Gamal and Ayin. To entreat. He speaks on God's behalf for the rebels. Well, speaks to God on our behalf because we are rebels. Now, and of course, you know, that is Nasah for bear, and that is to lift up or to carry. He has lifted up and carried the sin of many. This is not the same like what we were discussing in Deuteronomy 24. This is not the same with what we read in Ezekiel 18, 2 Chronicles 25, and Jeremiah 31. About a man can't be put to death for somebody else's sins. This is not the same context, because we're dealing with a reconciliation, with a ransom, with a redemption, with the kofar, with the price of a life. Not the same thing. Deuteronomy 24 is explicitly speaking about no one can be held accountable for what someone else did. Every individual is going to be held accountable for what they did. Has nothing to do with reconciliation or ransom. And people do this because the reality is there a lot of people talking about what's the difference between a ransom? What's reconciliation? What's redemption? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is forfeits in depthly that we can understand these things so somebody just can't patently just say somebody can't die for your sins and you be stumped because they say that and you don't know how to explain it. Because I've seen that over the years, is that there's passages that people say stuff about, and because people are not as versed in it as they would probably hope or like to be in a particular matter, they get stumped and they end up casting certain parts of the New Testament or the entire New Testament away completely, if you would, because they can't answer it. And they never look at the fact that there's nothing wrong with the word, because most people's mind don't work like that, because then they don't want to have to really accept the fact that they're inept in a particular matter and just say, hey, I'm not saying that this is incorrect or wrong. I just can't explain it, and that's okay. But then that would mean that you would have to acknowledge that you don't understand what you believe like you're supposed to, which is why that John 7:49 say, if you don't know the law, you curse. Because you should know the law to be able to explain Deuteronomy 24, so nobody would be able to say that to you. So you could be able to say, oh, no, of course he could die for your sins because it's a reconciliation for iniquity, sir. Do you not understand that a ransom has to be paid? Do you not understand what a kinsman redeemer is, which will take us back to what we were talking about in Ruth? Which is what's in Deuteronomy 25 that we have on deck. Is forfeits raising up a seed to your brother by marrying his wife if he passes away and he died without child. Because you got dudes saying now that you should marry your brother's wife if he died. It's only enforceable if he ain't had no child. And dudes be screaming that like, bro, this ain't your brother in the word. This your blood brother. It's your blood brother. And if your blood brother has children, you ain't, why ain't nobody marrying it? What is you talking about? It doesn't say marry your brother's wife under every circumstance. It says only marry your brother's wife if he died without seed. So his name's not put out. The same way we were talking about the other day when people mention you can't do nothing as a Levite till you're 30. No, that's not for everybody who's a Levite. That's specifically for Aaron's sons. This is why you have to slow down, read the text, see what it say. Because people take certain elements and run off tackle, and that's not what it's saying. Take patience is key. It's shocking how few talking points are regurgitated. And it is what it is. I mean, and it's natural too, to be honest with you. You feel me? Like, I put it, man. When you take something like the word, which is why we dealing with the testimony of the Lord, we using Isaiah 34:16 as the header. Y'all know I tell you what Acts 17 say, and all of you should live by it. That these men were more noble than those in Thessalonica because they searched the scriptures daily to see if these things are so. You shouldn't let nobody tell you anything. Even if you know, like, oh, I know bro wouldn't lie to me, this, that, and the third. That's cool. I understand if you saw somebody in that fashion, I get it. I'm not knocking you for that. Nevertheless, it is still your responsibility as a man to search the scriptures to make sure that everything this person said to you, that's what's in there. Just sitting there bobbing your head to the beat. Just sitting there aimlessly looking crazy. Scrolling on your phone, thinking about this and thinking about that. That's completely unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And you know the sad part is you won't do that with any other piece of information in the world except for this word. I don't understand that. You'll go to school, you'll focus, you'll take notes, you'll do all that for man's things or your own personal desire, but for the word, you'll sit there and stare off in the la-la land. Nigga, that junk is retarded to me. Because what's more important, you talking about a damn school, a job? That's more important than your soul? Nigga, is you serious, my nigga? Remember, he say where your heart is, say where your treasure is, your heart will be also. So what that is that you value, that's where your inward man gonna be at. But this man says, seek out the book of Yahuah and read. This man say, blessed are those who read and do the words of this prophecy. You should be able to know, you have to be able to know what's in there. People should not be randomly saying things and then you get agitated and frustrated because they saying it, because you either just highly excitable, because some people just get pissed off when people say certain stuff, and I get it, or you doing that because you don't know what's in the book. Now, I'm not saying that you got to walk around and be able to break down passages and verses to people at any given time, but you should have that for most of you, because you've not been doing this for a short period of time. Most of you have been doing this for a decade plus. You should be able to plainly and succinctly be able to explain particular passages and why you believe what you believe as a man. Like, just period, just as a man. You should be able to plainly and succinctly and clearly at any given time be able to communicate anyone with any question that they ask on, this is why I believe what I believe. This is why I stand on what I stand on. Oh, this is what this is communicating. Or what you said, I understand that you see it that way, but this is actually what the text is communicating. You should be able to do that with no problem. If not, you've wasted 10 years of your life. You just wasted a decade of your life. 3,600 days plus, you wasted them. And that's inexcusable. You know what I'm saying? There's no rational reason or excuse that any grown man could give for that. They could give you a year or two in. A decade plus? That's 5 years is long enough. You understand how long 5 years is, man? That's 4 years of college plus a year. You understand? That's 4 years undergrad and 1 year postgraduate school, man. It's inexcusable. Indeed, like they say, you want to give more earnest heed to the things which you have heard, lest they slip. You know what I'm saying? This is what he tell you. When you don't give earnest heed to the word, man, that man will snatch that junk right up out your brain. Can I tell you who Esau is? I don't care who Esau is. I ain't gonna lie to you. I could, but I don't. That's not something that we're concerned with. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even something we deal with for real. I ain't saying that to be rude or disrespectful. It was just something that ain't even. That's at 13 years we ain't never even had that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not important. I can tell you this: we talk about who Esau is. Esau is your brother, and your brother wants to overtake you to take his birthright for a short period of time, according to the text. You feel me? No, I get it, but that's what I'm sitting here telling you. Pinpointing who the nationality is, you have to look at the behavior. So when you look in Genesis 25, when the birthright, 27, when the birthright is given, he's going to have a short time period to rule the whole earth. Like he ain't had before, where all his mother's sons bow down to him. All those things that's taken into account with that. And that's what you have to pay attention to, is behavior. Not people who are ruling from a geopolitical standpoint, because that don't mean how they gonna rule, how Esau gonna rule. Because Esau gonna rule with the literal open power of Satan with him. Because the man of sin is gonna be an Edomite. Yeah, and a lot of people do say that it's Arabs, but then when you you good, blood, you good. When you sit back and you look at white people, this got to be your blood brother. Then when you turn around and you look at this here, if the man of sin is going to be an Edomite, black folks ain't following no white man. They not. I don't know if some of y'all seen the short when Mike Epps said he found out who was the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he called his mom and told him, and he said, man, once I seen a white man started it, he said, I was done. I feel like I had been bamboozled. You know what I'm saying? I think Derek sent it to me because I done told y'all this before. I cannot see millions upon millions of black folks following no white man. I can't see it. I ain't saying it's impossible. I can't even see that in my mind. I can't see a white religious figure raising up and black folks following him in mass. Can't see it. Because you have to remember, the man of sin is coming for the children of Israel first, because they the ones with the word. They the ones going to be moving the word. So them the ones he going to persecute first. See, the church likes to frame it as it's just Christians. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to throw people for a loop, but that's not what the text say, though. You feel me? Now, let's say one thing where you're going to be able to know that who this Edomite is. It says that he will openly blaspheme against the tabernacle. I don't believe Arabs are blood brothers either. You know what I'm saying? So again, we're kind of narrowing it down now, aren't we? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but see, following white Jesus is not the same. I know it sounds like that, but most black people don't really follow white Jesus. They follow a doctrine. They may have a photograph of this white man in their house, but we talking about tangibly a physical Caucasian man in their face, orating, who's supposed to have understanding of the dark sentences of the parables and the secrets of the word, literally making intelligence with the people, teaching people to go against the covenant of Yahuah and join to his covenant. I can't see black folks following that, blood. I can't. I really can't. For sure. They're going to look like you. It's your twin brother. You know what I'm saying? It's your twin brother. That's not and he's a Shemite. You know what I mean? It's not something like it literally says, hey, your brother going to get a period to rule. Ezekiel 35 tell you how he going to move. Daniel 11 tell you what the play is because he going to get a short time for his birthright. That's the blessing Isaac gave him. He get a short time for his birthright. We can't turn around and sit back and say, oh, it's the white folks running America, because America is nothing but a colonial empire for a particular group of people, British people to be exact. You know what I'm talking about? And it's not a conglomerate of a government system as far as the man of sin is concerned. It's one man who has power over all. And that's not in the earth right now. It's not. Like I said, man, you sit back and you look at that, bro, you think a whole bunch of black folks going to pull up on this white dude according to Daniel 8 and 23, where they say he going to have understanding of dark sentences and with craft he going to prosper and he going to use peace and destroy many. You think a whole bunch of black folks finna follow a white man that's not close enough to the truth for you to get hit with the lie? Because especially when you look at most people in the world, and I say this respectfully, have an extreme distrust for Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian, Aryan / people. An extreme distrust. These people don't fool with white people because they're enamored with them. They fool with them because at this present time, they have the economic power to be able to negatively affect any particular country on the planet. And that's slowly slipping away because every empire falls. But we've had that conversation, so I'm not going to rehash that. You know what I mean? So when you sit back and look at that, man, ain't a whole bunch of black folks following the Pope. We like to tell ourselves that, but the reality, that's not true. What hood you been in when niggas talking about the Pope? When niggas like, I need to watch what the Pope saying. Most niggas ain't even Catholic if they don't live in Catholic-leaning cities. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in New York City, if you're not in New Orleans, if you're not in particular areas or in particular cities, niggas not even Catholic for real, bro. So you know what I'm saying? We have to step outside, and I'm not saying you doing that for you. I'm saying we have to step outside of conspiracy theories and YouTube pontifications and look at the world for what it is and what it ain't and examine it according to the text and see. And then you black, you should know. What black folks you ever seen rally around some white folks, man? You've seen a small glimpse of what black people would do when at least in America anyway, let's not say worldwide, at least in America, when they nominated Obama to run for president, man, you ain't never seen black folks rally together like that before. Never in your life. You had grown niggas outside crying, man. Grown men. And I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with them crying, but I'm talking about, look at the circumstance of how they played that, how all these black folks were galvanized for this one common cause for somebody who had this similar amount of melanin in their skin as them. And ask yourself, what Caucasian have you ever seen in your days make black people do that? Because I'm 45 years old. I ain't never seen it. Not in this country. I didn't see him do it with John F. Kennedy. I ain't seen him do it with Eisenhower, Bush. Niggas can sit back and say, Bill Clinton was the first black president. Niggas wasn't outside crying when Bill Clinton got elected. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Indeed, Nelson Mandela got that kind of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really got to step out and look at history and see. I'm talking about in your modern time. And just see, man, hey, shoot, you could go back further than that. You have never seen millions and millions and the millions of black folks get like that for no white man or no Arab man. Ain't never seen it. It's not going to work. Because to deceive people, you have to be closely aligned with the truth. That's the best form of deception. Anything that is far away from the truth, the deception don't work. You know what I'm saying? The only way that deception works is because you're just a blithering idiot. You know what I'm talking about? But the reality is, most people are not blithering idiots, but most people are gullible. Most people are impressionable, and most people want to be a part of something. So to want to be a part of something, it has to be something that you can relate to. And we can't relate to white people in America for real. Can't. You know what I'm saying? And you know why? Because you're not white. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I say back in the day, people used to have pictures up on their wall of MLK, JFK, and Bruce Lee. That's a fact. And they did. And they did. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, man, just go back if you can and look at some of them videos of the election night of when Obama won that election night. Just go back and look. Go back and look at some of the video of the election and see, peace, man, what's happening with you, Drake? And look at how the people were galvanized. Now, I was in prison when this man got elected, and I seen that junk on the news. Like, I ain't never seen black folks like this before. Never. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. Like, straight up pandemonium for real. Like, I ain't never seen it. People, though, man. I ain't never seen that, bro. Oh, you talking to Dre, my bad. I ain't never seen that before. I think I was like 27 at the time. I had never seen that before and ain't seen it since. Ain't seen it since. Now, in certain situations, do we have a white savior complex? What I mean by that, in certain scenarios, white folks perceive and believe that they can come in and we'll fall at their knees for them to deliver us from a certain situation and circumstance. Usually, though, it's political or economically. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. It is not religiously. They perceive that they can do that. That's why I told you about like how they like to send a church bus in the hood and all the other type of stuff. But like I said, them kids don't take them white folks seriously when they go out into their church. They acting a fool. Because that white man could never relate to them. Ever. Because he's not black. So it would be impossible for him to be able to do that. So this person has to look like you. Because that's the only way that you're going to actually be able to listen to him. Because see, contrary, we're not even say contrary, as much as we say it when it comes to certain stuff, but as far as like, at least with American black folks, or as my homeboy likes to say, you know, foundational black Americans, or whatever the case may be, most of the world copies and moves and flows and mimics your movements, your trends, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? It's very rarely, except for high-end luxury, that black folks are taking their cues from white people. You know what I'm saying? But most of the world takes their cues from you. Fourth is, you know, slang, dress, music, things of that nature. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about certain things of like high level of importance, but I'm giving a snapshot of what's going on. You don't look to other people as, I want to mimic them, unless you want to seem to be deemed to be successful in this particular society. But everybody want to be like you, though. They don't want to be you as far as your life conditions, but they want the essence of who you are. And that's why we'll never follow no white man. Say, I remember we watched the polling in class. We went to the Trolls in DC to see, and the energy was high. I'm telling you, I could tell that just from seeing it on TV. And I said, I don't remember Reagan's election, obviously, because I was a baby. His re-election, I don't remember that either because I was a toddler. You know what I'm saying? But Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, Trump, Biden. Well, I ain't never seen nothing like what I seen with Obama, man. Like I told you, as a political science major, ain't never read or seen anything like that. Like I said, Bush election wasn't even close. I'm telling you. I know that that's what a lot of our brothers teach as forfeits. You know, the white man, the Esau, this, that, and the third. I can't see it, blood. I can't see it. I can't see hundreds of millions of black folks following no white dude. I can't see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it ain't possible, but I can't see it. I can't see it happening. Well, and if I wasn't in the word and you would say that to me, I would say the same thing. I can't see it. Because I know I ain't following nobody. You know what I'm talking about? I know I ain't doing it. That white man can't lead me nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? Not from living over here. Nigga, is you dumb? Hell no. And it's not because he's white. It's simply because we have a history of interactions with these people in this particular country, and there is nothing that they have done that would engender that level of trust from me at all. You're not going to tell me that I'm finna follow somebody who hung my wife from a tree and slapped her stomach till my son fell out and they stepped on my son's head as a fetus, and you think I'm finna follow them. I'm not finna follow no people who took my son and put him at a swamp so an alligator could eat him, so they could catch him, so they could skin him. I'm not finna follow that, bro. I'm not finna follow nobody who just in 1963, 1962, 1960 hit my people upside the head with axe handles, sprayed them with water hose and 6 Rottweilers on them. Do you understand that's only 64? Look here, man. Y'all have mercy on us all. If my mama was still alive, she'd be 70 years old. So that means that happened in my mama's lifespan. That means that ain't that long ago, blood. My mama was born in 1955. Axe Handle Saturday happened in Jacksonville in 1960. Dudes getting sprayed with water hoses and Rottweilers and being beaten for wanting to eat at a lunch table happened in the early to mid 60s and somewhat into the 70s. Do you understand that in the early 1940s that a black man could be sold into slavery if he couldn't prove he had a job? Bro, that's not even 100 years ago. That's not even 100 years ago. You understand what I'm telling you? That's not a long time ago. So when you take that into account, nah, blood. You said there was, oh yeah, I could believe it was watch party for Obama. I can't see it, bro. I can't see it. Now, if y'all have a different point of view, and you can express it, because believe you me, this is not a place where you cannot express your point of view on how you see things. Man, it's cool. It's not that big of a deal. I can't see it, me personally. Hey, Free. Yeah, I can't see that jump, man. That jump wild, bro. You know what I'm saying? That jump with Obama, man, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. I don't think I'll never see nothing like that again if I'm not alive when the beach roll around. I ain't never seen black folks like that before. You know what I'm saying? To see black people of all different socioeconomic backgrounds all in one place weeping because this man got elected, bro. There ain't no light matter. I think a lot of us brush that to the side too. Like, I don't think you realize how serious that was mentally and emotionally for this people. For somebody who wasn't even your people. This nigga's not even black. This nigga's African and white. This nigga's Nigerian, man. This nigga's Kenyan, man. You're not even the same as him. Do y'all know, I seen a video, man, where they were talking about that ancestry DNA stuff and how that junk fraudulent, man. White dude said he sunk the blood of his dog in. Son, his dog's DNA in. Dog came back with a whole genetic profile of where he's supposed to came from. He said that's when you know that this stuff is strictly entertainment. You know what I'm talking about? How you send a dog? How these people ain't know this a dog? Not a human, a dog. I ain't making this up. Look at this. The tech dudes right now are trying to birth the beast system with the quickness. Yeah, but see, the beast system ain't AI. It's not robots. You know what I'm saying? The beast system is literally a system where Satan will be worshipped openly. Oh, no, I get you that, and I know what you mean when you say beast system. You know what I'm saying? As far as the secular way, I don't disagree with that. As far as you talking about scripturally, though, the beast system is a system where Satan will be worshipped openly. Openly. Let's take a look at that. Let's go to Daniel 11. I got to get off here in a second. So when we say the beast system will be a system where Satan is worshipped openly, this is why we say this. This is Daniel 11 and 30. Then we're going to drop down to 36. We may take a trip to 2 Thessalonians 2 and Revelation 13 to where you can see that. This is Daniel 11 and 30. For the ships of Shittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the Kadash covenant. So pause. The first thing you're going to look at it for the beast is he has hatred for the Kadash covenant. When you take that and you swing that back to Genesis, Esau had hatred for his brother because of the birthright. Well, the birthright is tied to the what? The set apart covenant. So that's one of the things that you have to look at. You don't see anybody in America at this present time or in the world openly displaying indignation against the Kadash covenant. I wanted to be clear now, not the book, not Christianity, but the covenant itself. So if there's indignation against the covenant itself, that means they have indignation against the covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, we believe that covenant was renewed or made Kadash through the shedding of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach upon his resurrecting from the dead. So this is what they're going to have indignation against. We must be clear. We can't make it be like they got indignation because we Israelites. Nigga, no. That's not what it says. It doesn't say he has indignation because you're an Israelite. It says he has indignation against the covenant. It means if he has indignation against the covenant, he got indignation with God. This is what the next thing he says. He has indignation against the Kadash covenant. So shall he do. He even shall return and have intelligence with them that forsake the Kadash covenant. That word intelligence translates to teach. So anyone who has abandoned the covenant of Yahuah, which takes you back to that great falling away, which is referenced in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, he is going to teach them who have abandoned that because he has hatred for that. Daniel 8 and 23, he says he has understanding of dark sentences. I shall read it for you. This is Daniel 8 and 23. And the latter time of the kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a fierce king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. So this is another sign for you to peep the play. This particular individual will have understanding of parables. That means he's going to be able to break down. See, not no talking about, oh, you the Israelites. That's goofy. That's not understanding the dark sentences, my G. When you go read Proverbs 1, you go read Psalm 78, I speak a parable, I speak dark sentences of old, he going to have understanding of that. That's why when I told the Persian dude, when he say Donald Trump is the dude in Daniel 8 and 23, nigga, you smoking crack. Donald Trump understand a lot of things. Dark sentences ain't one of them. He's saying by his power, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. So this means he's getting his power from another external source. We're going to read it in Daniel 11. He's going to tell you who it is. And he shall destroy wonderfully and shall prosper in practice and shall destroy the mighty and Kadash people. And through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. He shall be broken without hand. What does it mean that he will use craft? The Aramaic word for craft here. Now, I'm going to look at policy, right? Through his policy, that's a call. That's through his understanding or his insight. Because he has insight into the dark sentences, he will be able to destroy many. This is what he's going to have the ability to do. And he's going to cause craft to prosper, which is mirmah. That means that's deceit or treachery. Now we know that because he working with Satan, because he says Satan is a liar and the father of it. So this is who he get his power from. So he gonna use deceit and treachery to be able to do this. Now come back to Daniel 11:36. And the king shall do according to his will. He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god. He shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate he shall honor the God of forces, a God whom his fathers knew not, shall he honor with gold, silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Another key component in this particular passage, he say the God of his fathers. The only time you hear the term God of his fathers as it pertains to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, contrary to popular belief, Esau knew Abraham. And he was taught about Yahuah by Abraham. The same he was taught by Isaac. And he forsook the God of his fathers. And he did that when he rejected the birthright in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? And remember, it said that he said, man, when my father died, I'm going to kill my brother. And why did he have anger with his brother? Because of the birthright. No other reason. His issue was not because he's an Israelite, because he's Jacob. His issue is because of the birthright. The same indignation that you see now. Because it said he got indignation against the covenant. The covenant is based off the birthright. That's right, Aaron, man. The covenant is based off the birthright. Go read Genesis 25. The elder shall rule, the elder shall serve the younger. Go read Genesis 27 where Isaac blessed them and Esau come and say, you ain't got a blessing for me too? I already gave it to you. The blessing that he gave to Jacob, what did Jacob get after that? The covenant that was with Isaac, now it's with Jacob. The covenant that was with Abraham, Isaac, now it's with Jacob. So that's what the indignation is with. The indignation is with the covenant, which means the indignation is towards God, which is why he's speaking marvelous things against the God of gods. Like we have to take the fantastical storytelling and drama out of it so that you can read the play. The same way that if I give you a playbook, you should be able to understand defenses when I give you the play. Man, when we come out here in trips, and they out here in a base 4-3, you should be able to recognize real quick if they in cover 1, cover 2, or cover 3, or man to man, so you know exactly how to move based off the coverage that's in front of you. But if you can't read the coverage, you're going to run the wrong route. So if you can't understand the play, when the play happens, you're going to get got. Because you're going to be looking right and looking left when you should have been looking in front of you. Or as like I said in Swarth, it's misdirection, Stanley. Misdirection. Most of these people are giving us misdirection. And I will say with this caveat, most giving us misdirection unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily wanting to deceive people. They just really don't know. And they explaining it this particular way because it sounds good. And it goes along with other stuff you heard instead of just looking at what's on the paper and seeing what he's telling you because it's plain. He say, so Esau despised the idea of being in covenant with the Most High more so than the birthright. He did. When he rejected the birthright, he rejected being in covenant with it. He said, what good is this birthright going to do to me seeing I'm at the point of death? The birthright and the covenant are one and the same. Indeed, Aaron, Esau traded his birthright for worldly pleasure, but still wanted the benefit of the birthright once he traded it. That's a real deal nigga move. Facts, Marvin. Unnecessary audibles, man. All you had to do was send the receiver in motion and to get an idea of what the defense doing. Say facts, and having that motion guy to misdirect the coverage to gain leverage on the match. That's straight up and down. You got to know the play. So guess what? We got to know the play so that the defense can't fool us by running, you know what I'm saying, trying to disguise the coverage. Because that's what he says when he calls craft to prosper, Satan trying to disguise the coverage. He wants you to believe he blitzing when he really in a cover 1. You know what I'm saying? So that you make the wrong decision. We can't make the wrong decision. It's too costly to make the wrong decision. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, like when we talk about Esau, that's how we talk about it. Because trying to identify, oh, it's the white man, it's the Arabs, it causes us to be bandied about of things with no consequence. And then you can't zero in and lock in on looking at the behavior pattern to identify who the person is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the best thing to look at it. Because what did the Lord tell you? He didn't say by their nationality you'll know them. He said by their fruits. So all you got to do is just look for the behavior, and that way you can read the play. But I understand why you would ask that question, because when we look at what a lot of people teach, at least on our side of the fence, that's what they focus on. So it's a reasonable question. It's not an unreasonable query in no shape, form, or fashion. So I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. It let you know, like, yeah, we don't deal with that because it's unimportant. But what we can deal with is that so you can identify if a person does 1, 2, and 3, okay, that's that Edomite. That's the beast. Because remember, it said he coming back to come see Esau. And that makes my point of what I was going to mention earlier. In fact, there's something in this video, right? Y'all know in Acts chapter 1, right? Where did the Lord leave from? He left from where? The Mount of Olives. Then you know in Zechariah 14, it says that he shall return upon the Mount of Olives, because in Acts 1, he told the Malachim, told the apostles, the same mountain you seen him leave from is the same mountain he coming back to. Now you go read Zechariah 14, you know what I'm saying? It tell you how an earthquake is going to happen. Well, in the video, this dude was saying there was some Jewish dudes who wanted to, I forget what type of business they wanted to build on the Mount of Olives. And they went up there and they had to do, you got to do certain site work and get certain stuff, passed, zoning, stuff to get done, or whatever they call it over there. And then you know what they found on the top of Mount of Olives? A fault line. A massive fault line at that. A massive fault line. I put a video in the group chat. A massive fault line. So it would make sense that, of course, is when he puts his foot on that mountain, that's going to cause the massive earthquake that is described in Zechariah 14. So let me read this one point. We ain't got to read Revelation 13. Y'all know what it said. Let me read that in Zechariah 14 real quick, though. This is 14 and 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. And he shall flee to the valley of the mountains, and the valley of the mountains shall reach to Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as you fled before the earthquake. In the days of Uzziah, Malach of Yehudah, and Yahuah your Elohim shall come, and all the saints with him. Say it would be easy to make Esau black or at least light skinned. They could always pair him with a black woman. And remember what you just read, it said he won't even have a desire for women. So he come. Listen, let me tell y'all something let me read what Drake said. Is that the fault line they were saying that's the split? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know it said that in that video there's a fault line on the top of Mount Olive. I'm not sure. I can't answer that, brother. You'd have to tell me where they say that after that fault line in Africa is at, because I can't say. To be 100% honest with you, man, the beast is coming, and he's coming to mimic Yahushua to the T. That's why he's going to take a deadly wound and raise from the dead. He's going to try to convince you that he is the anointed one that is testified of in the Tanakh and in the Torah. That's what he's coming to do. And a white man can't come and do that and deceive the children of Israel. He can't. He can't. As the brother said earlier, we follow a white Jesus, but we really don't. We have, and I get why he would say that. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not dismissing what he's saying, because there's not irrelevance to his statement, because we know a lot of black folks got a white Jesus photograph hung up in their house. But I will say this here, that's older black folks. Younger black folks, nigga, no. Nigga, no. That's your granny and your auntie them. But your peers, they ain't got no white Jesus in their house. They ain't got no Jesus in their house. And they don't want no Jesus in their house. And we have to start dealing with that. We have to stop looking at things from a generation of people who dying. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it a bean. Them people not alive no more. Your granny them that went to church every Sunday, she dead and been dead. Your great grandma, your aunties that had that white Jesus on the wall, they dead or at the home. But your peers that's in their 20s and 30s and 40s, they ain't got no white Jesus on the wall, bro. And neither do they parents, for real, for real. Like we talking about the 80s and 90s, man, it's 2025, my G. Times have changed. It is not the same. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand, again, I understand that point because we look at them because they go to church and this, that, then, the third. Man, black folks identify with Christianity. They may identify with a white Jesus subconsciously, most even consciously. You know what I'm saying? But like stepping in some black folks' wall in the hood and seeing that old white man on the wall, nah, man, they ain't going down. Not no more. Not like that. It's got to be a real older black Christian person. Mainly a woman, I should say, more than anything. Because a lot of men didn't have a white Jesus on their wall unless he lived with a woman. Because if he lived by himself, I cannot recall in my life seeing a black man who lived alone with a white Jesus on the wall. I ain't saying it ain't never happened. I just don't recall seeing it. Say crackers don't even believe in white Jesus. They don't. I said it ain't lying. Hey, white folks don't even believe in that John no more, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Whether y'all really believe it or not, man, the preponderance of people who believe in Christianity in the United States of America has dwindled greatly. A lot of people do not believe in the word of Yahuah like you think they do. And I know a lot of that gets divorced from us because you on the internet and you in circles of people who talk about the word and say they believe in the word. But when you get out of your comfort zone, the people who in that, you'll find out that it's a lot of people who do not fool with the word no more. They think you a goofy and an idiot for reading it. They like you reading that white man book, you reading fairy tales. And a lot of black folks, they don't fool with this no more. I'm talking about surface. Like they don't fool with this like we think they do. Because we think about past generations. You know what I'm saying? We like I said, we think about depending on your age. You know what I'm saying? At least for me. You know what I'm saying? You think about grandparents and parents. Like if my grandparents were still alive, they'd both be almost 100. So that means they were born in the 30s. So that means they came up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s as coming of age. You know what I'm saying? Well, that was still prevalent. Like I said, my mom was born in 1955. My pop was born in 1951. So that's a different thing that they came up with. And my daddy being born in 1951 wasn't on no word. You know what I'm saying? That man was on some old Pan-African and stuff my entire life. We literally put a red, black, and green flag on his casket. He was a police officer. He specifically gave me and my brothers instruction, don't you put no American flag on my casket. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I want this. And there's photographs with him and video with him in his police blues walking down the street holding this flag. That's what he always was on. Yeah, that's why I told you I didn't understand what my auntie was tripping about. Why he don't want the American flag on his casket? Because he told us he didn't. For me personally, I don't need a reason from my daddy on why he ain't want it on now. It's just as simple as don't do it. Do this. That's enough for me. You feel me? I don't need no rationale or explanation. But I'm looking at her like, this your brother and you ain't know this?
No, I laugh because my dad had told me that story about him.
Who, my daddy? Mm-hmm. He said a brother would have a tapestry of dogs playing poker, a black panther, a black bull, a naked sister with an afro. Yeah, man. That's what you always see at your dad's friend's house. Yeah, you don't see no white Jesus on the wall at the black man's house and no woman don't live in there. You say your daddy was born in 51 too. He wasn't. Of course not. Especially a black man who grew up during segregation. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we be tripping when it comes to that type of stuff, man. Man, our people don't really fool with them people like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not like that. But nevertheless, let's go to Isaiah 50. We got to get off here. Well, hopefully, man, you said that made sense to you, made it clear, man. Hopefully that did, man. Let me tell you something too, bro. It don't matter what you ask, bro. You can ask anything you want at any time, man. You ain't never gonna be belittled, disrespected, or shunned because you asked a question. Because it's simply a question. That means it's information you don't know or don't understand, and you seeking clarity. But you can ask at any given time. I just state things in a plain fashion. You know what I'm saying? I don't be meaning no disrespect by nothing like that. Shalom, Sister Kelly. Isaiah 50 and 4. Say, Yahuah have given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakened morning by morning. He wakened my ears to hear to learn. Now, we talked about this the other day, and I don't have a long amount of time left to go into great detail. But anybody who claim they have the tongue of the learned and they don't have the ability to speak a word in season to somebody who is weak, you need to go sit down and reassess yourself, man. You need to sit down and reassess yourself because you out of pocket in a multitude of ways. We were talking about this the other day, man. Like for real, this is a people's business. So you're supposed to have the ability to be able to intermingle with people. And again, you look at weary, of course, you know what that means. That's somebody who's exhausted, fatigued, weak, whatever the case may be. And if you literally work for Yahuah, then he would give you a word that would strengthen this person. And we talk about that verse all the time. When he told Peter, he said, man, when you converted, man, go strengthen your brethren. Like you can see me in spaces, man. I'm not finna go back and forth with. I'm not finna waste my time dispensing a word to argue with a nigga when I could take that same word and give it to somebody, and that could give them strength or hope in a dark time, man, or help relieve somebody anxiety. You feel me, or whatever they got going on, because that's what it's for. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me to win no battle with no nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for you, me to cut, man. We ain't cutting nothing but that sin in your chest so you can get it up out of there. He said, I'm just glad there's a place to get into where the weightier matters. Oh, praise you, who indeed, man. I mean, we need to deal with that stuff just because it's important, because your life is on the line. And for us to make sure that we are always constantly and consistently moving to do just like what the man said in Matthew, to be you perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I understand everybody's human. You got proclivities, you know what I'm saying? You get agitated, you get excited. All of these things are part of the human experience, and they're not to be apologized for. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, this year we've been talking about that, really zeroing in, focus on it, is allowing yourself the space to be human as you seek to be justified by a Mashiach. You don't have to walk around here and act like you're not human. That means there are times, that's why we talk about that verse when he said, hey, be careful for nothing. But he said, if the anxiety come, think on these things. Why? Because you're human. You know what I'm saying? Okay, temptation might come. Okay, but there's an exit. So understand that you have desires. You have to check those desires. If there's thoughts that arise that are contrary to the word, okay, you got to cast them thoughts down because you're human. You might have those thoughts. This is why one of the fruits of the Spirit is temperance, or having self-control. What good is it to have all this word you read and study and talking about, and you have no control over your mouth, over your feet, over your hands, over your desires, or nothing? Like, nigga, what is we doing? You just know stuff, but you still a nigga, though. Like, when you going to become a son of God instead of being a nigga? He said, it's appointments left, death and judgment. We must be prepared and moving circumspect. Definitely have to be moving with a level of wisdom and reverence for what it is that you say that you're doing. Like, we had a goofy conversation earlier today from a goofy nigga. The same goofy nigga I just told you. Zara, I just told my wife about that there, man, because I told her, you know what I'm saying, when that junk went down, because we was at Muffin's, what you call it? Girls on the Run meet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this same goofy nigga coming here today, right? He talking about the story, talking about, is it rape if somebody put a gun to your head, or is it adultery? Using something from the Apocrypha with Susanna, right? Now, y'all know how I look at stuff, man. People say, oh, I was forced, I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. You may not like your choices, though. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, when you look at this from a godly perspective, man, I can't turn around and say, yes, technically in the aspect, if this woman had sex with this man and she committed adultery, but the reality is, if you physically coerce this person with violence, bro, you raped her, bro. and you trying to read a verse to say it's still adultery, don't make it justice. You sound stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like you really sound stupid. And I say so many niggas are so rigid because they think Yahuah rigid like them. Like when I seen the dude say, you don't have enough trust in Yahuah to eat cold food on the Sabbath. You stupid bastard. You really think this man sitting in heaven? Look at this nigga over here warming up food. Ah, that's a wicked bastard. He cooking food today on the feast day. On the day I set apart for y'all to sit down, hear the word, and sit at a table and eat and rejoice and all of that I'm blessed you with. But look at this wicked nigga. He cooking a sandwich. He the same wicked niggas that'll let a hungry man come to their house and say they can't feed him because it's the Sabbath and send him away and think they did God's will. You stupid bastard. He said, oh, thank you for, praise Yahuah. On anxiety been weighing on me. Yeah, man, hey, man, it's a part of it because you human. Yeah, it's a part of it. But as it says in Jeremiah 17, blessed is the man who trusts in Yahuah, whose hope Yahuah is. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying you'll be careful for nothing. You won't have no anxiety. See, we have to allow the ability that, okay, I'm feeling a little anxiety right now. And then, like you said, think of those things that are pure. Think of those things that are just. You know, he keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusting you. You know, trusting Yahuah forever. For trusting Yahuah is everlasting strength. We have to give us 10, because niggas want to act like you ain't gonna have that type of stuff happen to you in the word, and if it do, you wicked. That's a stupid bastard. You know what I'm saying? This is a jackass. This is somebody who doesn't have the ability to give a word to the weary, because you could be weary, man. Life real out here, bro. It's real out here, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? If people going through some things for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. And that's why I mentioned like when if people on tongue and you'll say, well, who's Esau and what about the verse? Man, nobody don't care about you going through real life, bro. Nobody don't care about, do you believe Joseph the daddy, my nigga? You got to go in a theological conversation for that. You ain't gonna get that from me. I'm not gonna talk to nobody about that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, people dying, niggas losing their job. You know what I'm saying? Stuff ain't going how you thinking. You wondering how you gonna do this and how you gonna do that, and you still, and then you go to having those thoughts, and then you wondering, am I wicked because I feel this way? No, you flesh and blood. But when you feel that way, you have to lean on he who has the peace that surpasses all understanding. You know what I'm talking about? That's when you, like we talked about before, you can't try to go through that stuff dolo. You got to tap in, you know what I'm saying? You know, how can a man, if a man fall, how he pick himself up? You know what I'm talking about? A 3/4 chord can't be broken. The reason why a lot of us try to go through stuff by ourselves is one, you either don't want to be a burden, or two, you don't trust the people you around who in the word. So then you would have to question, why are you fellowshipping and affiliating with people that you can't fool with like that? Because then that's weird. Because it shouldn't be that way. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago, like what he said in Job, man, the scales are his pride. They stick so closely that no air can't get in between, man. And you say, man, how can the devil get my brother if he close to me? Niggas gotta stop faking and fool with each other for real. That's what Peter wrote to you. Have unfeigned love for the brethren. How you out here faking and hesitating? It ain't supposed to be like that. But too many niggas fake, flaw, and phony. And because people have these negative type experiences, that's how they move. I done said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. Man, if you around here around me, man, then you my nigga then. Then you my people then until you dishonor yourself. So whatever you got going on, then that's what I got going on. Because that's what the text tell you to do. But even if we wasn't in the word, man, that's how a nigga was before the word. Like how you around people and you say, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my friend, but then you don't fool with them like that for real. What's the point of doing all that? Because everybody should be able to lean on each other. And whatever that looks like at any given time. And not walking around here acting like you ain't going through some things because you don't want nobody to talk about you. Man, you got to stop worrying about all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Nigga gonna talk, if a nigga gonna talk about you, they gonna talk about you. So what? You only talking because I gave you forth this information to know. So if I let it be known, that means I don't give a damn what you do with it. Because that's why people keep stuff close to the vest, because you don't want nobody to do nothing with it. That's why you ain't saying nothing. But boy, if I tell you this, what I got going on, nigga, I don't give a damn about what you said, because shoot, I done said it. So that means I can own it. Yeah, I'm down bad. And what, nigga? What about it? If you want to go talk about it because I'm down bad, that don't say nothing about me. That say something about you. That's not a poor reflection on me. That's a poor reflection on you. So if that's the type of character that you want to display in the eyesight of God and man, then so be it. You have to answer to him about it when you see it. You good with that? I'm good with it. That's how you have to shift the way that you think stuff won't bother you. I've been told you, man. My mama told me a long time ago, man, don't take nothing personal on what people do. 99.9% of the things that people do ain't got nothing to do with you. I appreciate my mama telling me that, because then it causes you to not take things personally when people do certain stuff, because you know that's them. That got something to do with them. They ain't got nothing to do with me. And that ain't got nothing to do with God, because God ain't got nothing to do with this nigga's a buster. That's that nigga. That nigga like to beat on his wife? That's not representative of Yahuah. That's representative of the nigga who beating on his wife. If she like to sit around and spread people information and talk bad about people and slander people behind their back, that ain't a representation of God. That's a representation on her and possibly your husband if he knows she doing it and he don't say nothing to her about it. You know what I'm saying? And fourth, it meaning like, hey man, we don't do that. You can't be doing that. That's not something we do. I don't co-sign that behavior. Chill out with that. Like straight up. You know the number one way to cut stuff like that down? Don't let her come to you talking about other people's business. Then she gonna know, guess what? I can't be sitting around talking to nobody about nobody because my husband don't want to hear from me. I'm not finna sit here and talk bad about these people around me, man. I don't want to hear that. You're not finna do that. Because guess what I don't want my children doing? Thinking that's cool because they mama sitting around doing it or they daddy sitting around doing it. Hell no, because we ain't gonna act like these niggas don't be doing it, because these niggas be doing it too. He said, how do you tap into that piece? I remember when moms passed, I was going to church, but there was no outside fellowship, so I felt alone and prayer was hitting like, man, now how do you tap into that piece that surpassed all understanding, man? You have to strengthen your faith, bro. It's really just that simple, to be honest with you. And it ties into that Isaiah 26:3. Of course, you know, we have no need, reason, or excuse to read it. And Isaiah 26:3 says this: he keep his mind in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Trust in Yahuah forever. For trust in Yahuah is everlasting strength. So the more that your mind is stayed on God, the stronger your faith gets. And the stronger your faith gets, the more your pieces increase. And the more your pieces increase, the more that it can help abate whatever you're dealing with. But don't get it twisted. Having a group of people around you in times like that is invaluable. You know what I'm saying? It's invaluable. You know what I'm saying? If it's possible when you're dealing with stuff like that, that you don't have to deal. I do not recommend dealing with it alone if you don't have to. There are very few people on this earth that have the capability of dealing with negative situations and circumstances dolo. It takes a very, very mentally and spiritually strong person to be able to do that. Most people ain't that strong. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to be like, I'm gonna lean on my brothers, I'm gonna lean on my sisters. And when I say brothers and sisters, I ain't just talking about brothers and sisters in the word, man. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, you might got friends who ain't in the word, that in those situations and circumstances, you can lean on them too. Or you can lean on your daddy or your grandma or your auntie. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't one of them people to be like, you got to be with everybody in the congregation and nobody. You lean on whoever you want to lean on if they have a positive impact on your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on that. And I have, and God forbid I ever become like that, because that's just weird. If you got somebody you've been friends with for 25 years, what I look like telling you, oh, you don't need to be friends with them because they're not in the word. Nigga, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 decades plus of rapport with this individual. Now, would I recommend they advise you on spiritual matters? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But as we said this before, you have some people that on the natural side of things, they're good people. Now, in the eyesight of God, they might be wicked as hell according to the standard that he holds. But according to the standard that man holds, they might be solid. I'm not going to tell you not to fool with solid people. Real niggas, real niggas. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be able to lean on people, man. And you got to know how to comfort people when people going through some things. A lot of people don't really know how to do that. I don't hold that against nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's not like people are trained grief counselors or psychiatrists or therapists or things of this nature. So I would say, in reality, if it get that bad, you might need to go see a licensed professional. And that's okay too. I know a lot of brews don't like to they hear that, but I've been telling you that for years, man. For me, it's about the outcome. I really don't care how you get there. You know what I'm saying? If a therapist helps you get there, then so be it. When I say I mean somebody who preaches the word, if they can help you get there, then so be it. If your friends or family can help you get there, then so be it. As long as you get there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just be wanting to take credit for stuff instead of the outcome. The outcome is that you be made whole from whatever situation or circumstance you may be dealing with at a time. That's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Not who did it, so you can take the credit for it and be like, they don't serve Yahuah, they not an Israelite, they don't know nothing. You sound like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? You sound like an idiot. Nigga ain't never dealt with grief in his life. How you gonna counsel this nigga? Nigga, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Which is part of the reason why the Lord went through every part of the human experience, as it says in Hebrews, so that he could be a faithful and merciful high priest to the things pertaining to reconciling to God, so he could be able to relate to you. That's why he said who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way. It's very, very difficult for most people to have any type of empathy or sympathy in a situation or circumstance of which they have never experienced. You know what I'm saying? So they won't have the ability to know how to properly communicate with this individual, or even at the bare minimum, understand whatever anguish, angst, pain, suffering, or sadness that they may be experiencing. They're not going to be able to know how to be able to relate to this person. He said, I have a homie that's an atheist, and he's always been solid. We just don't speak on that topic. He respect my views. And I respect it, because, man, I'm not going to run up on it. Look at, man. I remember when I first got the word, man, I went back round the way, pulled up on my homeboy Dre. It was me and Langston, man. We pull up to him. First thing he thought I was finna do is start dropping word on him. I'm like, yo, you can chill, blood. Like, what you think this is, nigga? And I'm not finna hit you with no word, bro, and you ain't asked for it. But I know why he think like that. A lot of people getting the word. First thing they want to do when they see people start preaching to them, and this, that, then the third. I'm like, this here, man, boy, I'm still the same nigga, bro. I just don't live the same. But on top of that, I respect people's boundaries and space, man. You ain't asked me for no word, man. Nigga, I ain't seen you in about 6-7 years, man. I'm not going to be like, have you heard about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? No, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you, bro. My first thing is my nigga. You know what I'm saying? What's happening with you? What? You know what I'm saying? I'm just not finna smoke with you. Or I'm not finna go do this here with you or that there with you. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, man. I ain't finna do that with you. But anything else? Yeah, it's all gravy. Shoot. I still sit out in the hood with you. Not even he don't sell no dope, so you know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't gonna sit out there with you if you selling dope. Shoot, I wouldn't do that if I ain't in the work, but I ain't finna go to jail with you. You know what I'm saying? You still have to be a relatable person that has the ability to magnify the righteousness of your God when people see you. You still have to be a real person. You know what I'm saying? You just don't have to participate in ungodliness. You have a standard that you uphold to, but you should still have the ability to be able to move in and out amongst those people, and they can see you and they can relate. Because you got to remember, the Lord was amongst the people, man. A man was round the way. They was round the way, man. They go house to house, man. They really amongst people, how they living, man. These real people. These niggas ain't real because these niggas don't even go outside. These niggas only go outside when they can put a camera on the street corner, man. Other than that, these niggas ain't going outside. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to the hood just because you go out there to preach, my nigga. When you go around there in the hood and sit around there with the people, though. When you go through there and when you interact with these people, though. You know what I'm saying? And not hit them with no word, but just be an exemplary personification of he who is who you say you were born of. Can you go do that? Can you walk up in a spot and everybody know you serve God, but they still know that's still a real nigga though? I can still sit down and build with you. I can still sit here and have a conversation with you, man, and not be a pretentious douchebag. These niggas can't do that because they got a character to play. These niggas playing a role, man. Not everybody, but some of them. Y'all know what I'm talking about. These niggas be half up, man. You still got to be able to do that. You know, you can still, Because the first thing that people want to scream is the Lord hung out with sinners. No, he didn't hang out with sinners. He went to sinners and taught them. He didn't hang out with them. He wasn't going where they were going. He wasn't doing what they were doing. But he was still real enough to say, hey, man, I got to hit you with this info, so I'll come around here where you at. And I sit down here and I give you this game. I sit in your house. I eat with you. That's why the Pharisees looked at him like he was weird, because they not going to do that. These dudes not going to do. You got to realize what these men were doing around that time, man. They was in the hood, in the neighborhood with these people, going house to house. I told you we did that before. If I could go back to doing that again, if the Lord allowed, would I never get on this YouTube screen ever again? You know what I'm saying? Straight up now, because that's not even something I would stream. Now, I'd never do that. Absolutely not. We go house to house, man. Ain't nothing like it. It's the most beautiful, and especially if you love black people, ain't nothing more beautiful than being around black people all day, every day. I'm talking about different types of black people too. Hood black people, you know what I'm saying? Lower middle class black people. Now, upper middle class people, they look different. Some of them niggas be weird. You know what I'm saying? But when you love your people, that don't bother you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas don't love their people, so they don't want to be around them. Yeah, they don't want to be around them. I ain't got nothing, man. Shoot, man. I love them, man. Ain't nothing. I was glad I was born black. Shoot. And not because of the word. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that before I knew anything about no word. You know what I'm talking about? Man, you ever been in the hood before? Ain't nothing like it. Niggas something else. You feel me?
That's how I felt when
Cause you know you was in the hood, always in Eureka Gardens, up to no good.
No, I went to Texas and I went to J. Button, so it's like a culture shock, and I walked in. Wow, it's a lot of black people.
So you wasn't around nigga for real. Lying. That nigga was in Eureka Gardens, thugging.
Nah, cause I went to like Lee or Jackson Airways, which was still like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
This nigga been around white people all her life. God damn. I told you, Zara, you and her the same. Y'all watch the same white people shows and everything. She try to act like she ain't white, but she white.
I'm not.
She try to act like she white though. She glad to be black, but yeah. Only thing she ain't got that you got is Taylor Swift. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Everything else the same. Isaiah 50:5, man. Yahuah Elohim opened my ears. I was not rebellious, neither turned away back. I gave my back to the smitters and my cheeks to them that plucked off their hair. I hid not my face from shame and spitting. Y'all know where that's at in Matthew 26, where they did him like that. So we don't have to go read that. Y'all already know that. That's obvious. For Yahuah Elohim will help me, therefore I shall not be confounded. Therefore I have set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. He is near that justified me. Who will contend with me? Let us stand together. Who is my adversary? Let him come near to me. Now we could come back to deal with Isaiah 54:17 that, no weapon formed it. Because, a lot of people use Isaiah 54:17 and not in the context of the testimony. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the inheritance of the servants of Yahuah, and the righteousness is of me, saith Yahuah. And of course, you can look at that with Joseph, with the weapon that they tried to form to prosper against him, but it didn't work. What they thought to do to him to evil ended up being for good, saving many souls alive. And then, of course, you can see that with Yahushua himself. As far as they tried to form the weapon, it did not prosper. And they tried to rise up against him in judgment, and he condemned them. And this is the inheritance of the servants of Yahuah, and that righteousness of me is the Genesis 15:6 righteousness, not the Deuteronomy 6:25. A lot of brothers don't want that Genesis 15:6 righteousness, because that's the righteousness which is of faith, because you believe in God, therefore he justified you. A lot of niggas don't want that. Just like we read in Isaiah 53:10, when he said the knowledge of my righteous servant will justify many. It's not the knowledge of Israel. The knowledge of Israelites ain't gonna make nobody righteous. And if you think that, you was dumb as the day you was born. Now, whether you want to agree if that's Yahusha or not, that's a different conversation for some, but you already know where we at with that. That's why he say, they won't submit themselves to God's righteousness. They go to establish their own righteousness. Because these niggas don't want to be justified by faith because they don't believe. So their justification has to be because I keep the commandments and I'm an Israelite. Not because I trust in Yahuah, not because he spoke a word. I believe the word that he has spoken and he shall bring it to pass, even though my eyes can't lay hold to that which he has spoken, because I know he speaks the things that aren't as if they are. So I steadfastly and faithful in every word that he has spoken, because he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of a man that he should repent. And if he said it, then that nigga, that's what it is. Now, them niggas ain't on that. And these same niggas look me in your face telling you that you got to keep the commandments, in the same breath tell you they sin all the time. Now, how that makes sense? And think they justified in doing it. But the text tell you in doing this, you dishonor your God and therefore cause his name to be blasphemed. And that's something that, unfortunately, with a lot of Israelites, they don't seem to be concerned with the fact that this man's name's being blasphemed because of their behavior. You know, you beat on your wife, so what? You flim flam your brother, so what? You sleep with your brother's wife, so what? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Meanwhile, it's people who standing on the outside watching you, and like this here, and now they speaking. Remember, that's what he said to David. When David did that with Bathsheba and Uriah the Hittite, that's one of the first things he said. He said, now you cause the enemies of Yahuah to blaspheme. And you always have to remember that your behavior and conduct can cause those who don't believe in God to blaspheme. It's going to take you back to Exodus when he said, if you take his name in vain, you're not going to be held guiltless. That is not a light matter. So you cool with being the reason that God enemies speak against him, when you easily could have just comported yourself to the standard of righteousness that you tell people they should hold, but you not holding? Now, let me make that make sense, man. These supposed to be men. We talked about this last week. That junk is starting to irritate my soul again, which means it's time for me to stop. Because we supposed to be men, bro. We supposed to be men. The word perfect in Hebrew means to have integrity. We supposed to be men, bro. You can't be no grown man looking other people in the face, telling them to do 1, 2, and 3, and X, Y, and Z, and then you not doing it. Or you only do what's godly when it's convenient for you or when other people looking. Then when you get caught up, instead of having the humility to say, I'm out of pocket, I'm dead wrong, I need to do better, I should have did this, I sinned this, that, and the third, you make excuses to justify yourself and point fingers at other people for the fact that they can see that you ain't got no clothes on, nigga, you're naked. You mad at me for saying, nigga, you sinning. Why did you do that? See, nah, you speaking about stuff before the time. Man, shut your goofy behind up, nigga. Now that atheist over there, or that Christian over there, or that person that now they running their mouth against Yahuah. You always hear when dudes get caught up with something, they make Israel look bad. You never once hear these niggas say, boy, we making God look bad. You don't hear the niggas say that. All these niggas, they gonna speak against the Israelites. They not even concerned with God. It's not even a point of contention for them. They don't even care about that. They care about them. You gotta listen. See, y'all don't be listening to niggas when they be talking. You see what I'm saying? I be listening to these niggas. That's why I don't take these niggas seriously for real. Because these niggas don't care about Yahuah in no capacity at all. That's why I don't even drop no word when I be around these niggas, man. I'm not finna serve these niggas. You know what I'm saying? You not look here, man. You ain't even gonna respect what I got in my pocket, boy. This is straight drop. You understand me? This is a zone in the fold. Now, some of y'all don't know what that means, and I'm not gonna tell you what that means. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't need to know what that means. But that's a zone in the fold. This top-notch work. You understand me? This top-notch work. You say, I listened to him. Now I wish I never heard him. Nah, don't do yourself like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, man, being in the street, you got to listen to people, bro. It can cost you your life, and we dealing with the word. This life or death. Moses said, man, I set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life. And this is not a vain thing for you because this is your life. So when you dealing with the word in your face, man, and you just sitting here listening to people because your mama black, because he said he an Israelite, and you not really discerning and listening and paying attention to what this person is saying to you, not only with their words, but with their deeds. Like, come on, man. We done turned this junk into a frat house, man. God damn it. You know what they do in the frat house. Anything that come to mind. Look at me read verse 9. Behold, Yahuah Elohim will help me. Who is he that shall condemn me? And we'll go back over these back end verses y'all willing on Shabbat. Lo, they shall wax old as a garment. The moth shall eat them up. Who is among you that fear Yahuah, that obey the voice of his servant, that walk in darkness and have no light? Let him trust in the name of Yahuah and stay upon his Elohim. Behold, all you that kindle fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire and in the sparks that you have kindled. This shall you have of my hand. You shall lie down in sorrow. Telling you going to hell. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to eat dinner. It's almost 10 o'clock. Oh, my God. So, hallelujah for Yahushua the word. I appreciate y'all time. I bless y'all the house. I'll give in the name of Yahushua. Amen, Aaron, man. But yeah, we'll go back through Isaiah 50. You seen what we were talking about from Deuteronomy 24 and 16 to 2 Chronicles 25 to Jeremiah 31 to, what do you call it? Ezekiel 18. When they talk about, okay, can't nobody die for your sins. Remember, the context of those passages is the father shall not be put to death for the son, nor the son for the father. Man will be held accountable for his deeds. There's a difference because you have a ransom of a man's life as his riches. We read in Isaiah 50, he said, my arm is not shortened, that it can't redeem, which is paduf, which is a ransom. You know, the ransom of a man's life is his riches, and that ransom there is kofar, which is the price of a life. Amen. So, shalom, Sister Virginia. That's a price of a life. Then, of course, you know, you have your kinsman redeemer, which we got to double back on and finish what we got in Ruth 3 as it pertains to the kinsman redeemer. So, amen, man. Love you too, bro. Hold it down. So, yes, sir. So, hold it down, my G. So, when you take that into account, because, again, you got a ransom, you got reconciliation, you got redemption. Dudes don't like to talk about reconciliation because they don't believe that they have a sin that needs to be atoned for and purged, because they think all I need to do is keep these commandments and I'll be back at one with him. That's not going to make you back at one with him, because that don't cover the breach. And the breach happened before there was ever a covenant that happened on Mount Sinai, because the breach happened in the garden. Because that's your initial separation from the man. So he's got to come to reconcile that. Then reconcile the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Which, of course, then we introduced when bro asked about Esau, and then, you know, Esau has an indignation against that covenant because he hate God. So then he gonna have beef with those who are in that covenant. He gonna want to do something to them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to pay attention to all that, because the book tell you, man, the unjust are an abomination to the just, and the just on abomination to the unjust on abomination to the just, which of course it tell you that in Genesis, man. It's going to be enmity between the woman's seed and the serpent seed. The godly and the ungodly can't meet together and coexist. If you can coexist, if you claim you're a godly person, now I want to make this caveat, I ain't, because we know we mentioned you people who ain't in the word, so we're not talking about that type of situation and circumstance. You say you sitting around a bunch of dudes who say they in the word, and you know they move unjustly, and you can coexist with them, but there's no level of contempt for you from them or from you to them, well, you ain't as righteous as you think you are. Because there should be no way that you can sit in a circle of unjust men and be comfortable, because those men should be offended at your presence, because they know that you're not co-signing nothing they got going on. Like he said in Psalms 50, who are you to take my covenant in your mouth, seeing you cast my words behind your back? Say you plot and consent against your own brother. He said, now I'm going to reprove you to your face, because sucker nigga, you thought I was just like you, and oh nigga, I'm not. Yeah, man, I done experienced that there, man. You know what I'm talking about? Not with so what I just mentioned, was more so dudes sitting around and they think I'm on what they on. Nigga, I'm not on what you on, cuz. And I'm gonna let you sit there and think that I'm on what you on. Till the time come when I got to go ahead and tell you about yourself, because nigga, I'm not on that, bro. Oh, you thought it was just for the information. And nah, cuz, like, nah, nigga, we live it, we breathe it. It permeates through my soul, nigga. It pumps through my blood, nigga. It sweats out my pores, nigga. What did you want? Like, we not on that, bro. What did you want? We not on that. That's hard for people to accept, because people go through life faking. When I say faking, I'm talking about you don't want to do the things required and necessary to achieve the objective that you said you wanted to achieve. Because I doubt that anybody coerced you or forced you or cajoled you to want to be in the word. You made a conscious decision that this is what you wanted to do. But then when you found out what was required of you, instead of saying, okay, I don't want to do this, you would rather pretend that you want to do this while causing havoc, chaos, and destruction wherever you go, being a walking, living, breathing thespian, you know what I'm talking about, all of your days, and think that junk cool, and think because you faking, other people faking. Nah, bro, just go live your life. If this ain't what you want to do, then don't do it. But if this is what you gonna do, then hey man, be about what you talking about. Because like I mentioned earlier with the goofy nigga, with the conversation with rape, man, you know what I'm saying? Tell this nigga like, bro, I hear what you saying, but you screaming death before dishonor, and nigga, you dishonored yourself. You dishonored yourself when you didn't take care of your offspring. You can't scream to me death before dishonor, and you got dishonor on your jacket, my nigga. You know, I had forgot all about that with Zara when he popped in that, man, because I don't be thinking about these niggas. And then when mama said something, I'm like, damn, that nigga did do all that. That tell my memory bad. Blame it on the years of marijuana abuse. But yeah, like nigga, no. Nigga, no. No. Because y'all know how I feel about that, man. You a man, bro. You should be willing to die for what it is that you believe in. You should be willing to ride all the time, not just when convenient. If that's what you want, then that's what you want. Like when we were talking to Jacob when he came here about working on the Sabbath, bro. I don't want to hear that, bro. I told you, I'm never going to be in a position where I ask another grown man, "Can I serve my God?" I'm telling you, I am. I'm not asking you nothing. I'm telling you this as a courtesy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not asking for your permission. I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. Because nigga, I'm a man, bro, and I'm free. I'm not held by any of the shackles of what you got going on. I'm free among the dead, my nigga. What the Ruach of the Hamashiach is, there is liberty. Sir, I am free. So I'm giving you this as a courtesy. Let that be known. I'm not asking for permission. You know what I'm saying? Children ask for permission. I am a grown man. You know what I'm talking about? I will not ask any man on this earth at any time, can I serve my God? No, I'm telling you I am. And whatever you need to do in response to that, then shoot, nigga, tie up your shoes and make it happen. But I told you what it is on my end. And I mean that from the depths of my soul, man. Ain't no hole in my blood, boy. My heart don't pump no Kool-Aid, man. I'm not scared of none of that. You know what I'm talking about? What you gonna do, fire me? Oh, no. What you gonna do, kill me? You can't kill somebody who already dead. I'm already dead to the world and dead to sin, man. You can't kill me, my nigga. Ain't nothing you can do to me, man. But you gonna call me names? So what? Some people call me worse. Some of it to my face. I don't care. I don't care. But I'm telling you what I'm not gonna do. I ain't doing that though. And we all have to start developing that mentality, man. You don't need permission to serve your God. Just serve him. You know what I'm saying? When you see Moses doing that in Egypt, man, that was by design, man. He was working a play. Yahuah was working a play. He already told him, Moses, I'm gonna make his heart hard, man. He said, I'm gonna make my power be known on this nigga today and tomorrow. I'm gonna let it be known. That's a play. Man, you're a grown man, bro. You don't ask nobody for permission to serve your God, man. Nigga, stand up and let your nuts hang, man. What you got going on? You don't need permission to be a man, bro. Just exist. You don't need permission, man. Can nobody let you be nothing? Just be that. But when you be that, whatever that is that you professing to be, well, you need to walk that. You know what I'm saying? So if you professing to be a son of Elohim, you professing to be a servant of Yahuah, then you need to be merciful and gracious and abundant in goodness and truth and long suffering, showing mercy unto thousands and forgiving. You need to be that. You need to take pleasure in loving kindness, righteousness, and judgment, man. You need to take pleasure in that. That's right, Yahuah, man. They're going to shoot straight up. We got to be men, man. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again, man. You know, godliness is the epitome of masculinity, man. If you really godly, that's the epitome of masculinity, man. And it's not about, oh, I can rule over somebody. That don't make you no man because you can tell somebody what to do. Nah, man, it's exemplifying Exodus 34:6, which is why he told you be perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. When he told you be merciful like your Father, there's a reason for that. It's about manifestation of his actual attributes and character of how he interact with people. Can you do that, my nigga? Because you not eating pork don't mean that you could do that. You keeping the Sabbath don't mean that you could do that. But they don't want to have them conversations. And anytime I be in these spaces when these niggas have these conversations, they don't want to talk to me no more. Because I bet you don't, ho nigga. I bet you don't. Because I ain't talking about what you talking about. I don't care about if Gentiles can be saved, nigga. I don't care about your scholarship, goddammit. I care about what type of man you is for your son to see. What type of man you are for the people who in these neighborhoods who don't believe in God, who wondering what it look like, and they know you profess to serve God and they see you. Man, what you doing around them? Nigga, go outside and breathe some air, my nigga. Go talk to somebody who's not on the internet, man. Go sit down and deal with a nigga who just came home, man. Go talk to that chick who baby just died. You know what I'm saying? Can you sit down and do that? You ever looked in the eyes of a woman who just lost her child? I have on too many occasions, nigga. That's serious, bro. You ever talk to a woman who been sexually abused? Man, what you gonna say to her? You ever talk to a little boy who feel like his mama don't love him? What you gonna say to him? Oh, man, they don't hear that. That's right. What's the use of walking with Yahuah if you ain't real with yourself? Come on, man. That's what the Lord did. They was amongst the people, man. Now, I ain't saying you got to walk around like they were doing, because if he ain't send you to do that, he ain't send you to do that. I'm also referring to, do you have the ability to represent him to that when people see you, they see him? When people interact with you, they say they had an interaction where they say, surely the Spirit of God in him, Spirit of God in her. Therefore, I'm going to fall down on my knees and give glory to God and give thanks to God. Remember, he said that's an unspeakable gift. That's what Paul said, that when many thanks were down unto God because of the godliness that you exhibited towards somebody. What greater gift you can give from that? Somebody thank God because of you. God got esteemed because of you. Because his word and his spirit resided in you, you manifest that openly. People saw that and say, surely there's a God in heaven and earth. Surely there's a God in Israel. See, we don't want to be on that. I need to eat that. He said, it's a man on here who was supposed to be teaching to ask me what I did wrong to get assaulted. See, that nigga ought to be punched in his mouth, then kicked in his throat, then kicked in his balls. What type of nigga asked a child, a woman who was a child, what did you do to get sexually assaulted? See, that's what's wrong with these niggas. Like, how does that even formulate in your brain? Even if you wasn't in the word, amen, Mark, even if you wasn't in the word, why would you ask? Why would that even come to your brain? Oh, she had to do something for them to do that to her. Nigga, what? That's what I mean. Like, these niggas can't even be real people. These niggas ain't real niggas, man. There's no way you get in the word and become like that, bro. You was like that before this. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, man. Man, I grew up with too many girls who were sexually assaulted, man. There was nothing that ever entered into my brain to be like, I wonder what she did for that nigga to do her like that. Especially if she was a child. Ain't nothing she did other than exist, and this nigga's a pervert. I just literally sent you this video of this pastor who got caught asking a 14-year-old boy, can he eat his babies? There's nothing that 14-year-old boy could have did for that if that man got a chance to touch him. That nigga's a pervert. Like, why we just can't say that stuff for what it is? That nigga nasty. That nigga's a pervert. This nigga's a degenerate. It's not hard. Just say it. But what if they get mad? Well, they shouldn't have did it and I wouldn't have had to say it. Nigga don't take care of his kids. He mad because you say something about it. Nigga, you should have took care of your kids, nigga. Nobody would have had nothing to say. Man, this book says a spiritual man is judged by no man. but he judgeth all things. He can't be judged by nobody because he took the beam out his eye so he could see clearly. So there ain't nothing to judge him about. He ain't doing nothing. These niggas do something and get mad because based off the information in front of me, nigga, you evil. See, brother, you got to hear both sides. I hear a side that you're a jackass and an idiot. Straight up, y'all know, man. These niggas, I'm talking about Scar for life, John Scar, dope. These niggas crazy, man. That's how you know these niggas wicked as hell. Because they don't even want you to say nothing about nothing. Nothing about nothing. You got a grown man, and they talking about that's just how I talk about somebody playing in your butt. Like who fantasize like that? Boy, I've been a man for a long time. I ain't never fantasized about nobody playing in my butt. You know what I'm talking about? Then you mad because a nigga said something about it. Well, nigga, you shouldn't have been letting nobody play in your butt. Like that never enters into none of these niggas' minds. You could have just not did that. Yeah, you could have just not did that. You could have just simply took the beam out of your eye, tightened up on your backstroke, and then nobody would have nothing to say about you. But that sounds too much like godliness. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. What does these niggas got going on, man? I be wondering, like, who raised you niggas? Niggas disgust me because I couldn't be friends. I don't even know how these niggas be friends with these niggas. I couldn't be friends with these niggas. Let me go and eat my dinner, man. I got to tear up 1,600 square feet of flooring in the month. I know my back gonna be hurt. But again, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I bless y'all the house Elohim in the name of Yahuah. Yahuah with it, man. Friday night, man. We'll be back at it like a crack addict, 8 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Till that time. Yeah, these niggas crazy, man. All right, club, I'm gonna be back in somebody's room when I get off of here, man.